The Bruins are looking to go on their 7+ win streak once again this season. This would be the third time. Are they going to have to get?
Well, we will see tonight on an NHL Network only. I know it's Sportsnet and NESN, but on the side for that, if you don't get it, it's going to be on NHL Network. So we got the TV feed today. On NHL Network side, it'll be the third time this season potentially that the Boston Bruins can have a 7-game win streak. That is absolutely ridiculous. So for Jim Montgomery's squad, it sounds like this: Patrice, Bergeron, Brad Marchand, Jake DeBrusk, Dmitry Orlov, Charlie McAvoy, with David Krejci, Pavel, Zacha, David Pastrnak, Hampus, Lindholm, and Brandon Carlo on the second line. Charle, Coyle, Nick Foligno, Trent Frederick, Derek Forbert, and Connor Clifton, Tomas Nosek, AJ Greer, and Garnett Hathaway will be on the fourth line set for the Boston Bruins, which is Jeremy Swayman in goal, according to the notes and stuff that we got from about the 3 o'clock portion today. So they're 45-8-5. They're 9 points ahead of the Carolina Hurricanes. Still have the best record in the NHL. And for the Edmonton Oilers, again, it sounds like this. Head coach by Jay Woodcroft, 32-28 on the season. They are third in the Pacific now. Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Kyle Yamamoto, Darnell Nurse, and Cody Ceci. It's Leon Draisaitl, Clint Costin, Zach Hyman with Brett Kulak and Tyson Barrie in the second line defense. Ryan McLeod, Warren Fogle, Matthias Janmark, Derek Ryan, Vincent Desharnais, and Jesse Pugliarvi with Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard and Stuart Skinner will be getting the start in net tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And for the two goaltenders, I'm going to pull up here in my notes because I have the trade deadline stuff in front of me. We'll talk about that in the first intermission. But for Jeremy Swayman, 14-4-4 with a 234 goals against, 938 save percentage, and a pair of shutouts. Stuart Skinner, 15-12-4, 290 goals against, 912 save percentage. So a few minutes away from puck drop, and then once we get to it, I will bring you the complete game story at hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. This should be a good contest. And we'll see how many points Connor McDavid can pull out of the best team in the NHL as they're wearing the camo jerseys tonight. Be right back.
Not only is he got the best speed in the entire NHL, but the best shot. We're going to be talking more about the best coming up in the best power play going against the best PK. They're getting warmed up in Edmonton. Our preview will continue after a quick break.
So as I am waiting for puck drop, I'm just flipping this around here as far as between the Red Wings and the Sens, because I know that this is a huge game. The Sens have a 3-2 lead on the Red Wings. This essentially could be an 8-point swing. In back-to-back days, it's back-to-back games at the Canadian Tire Center. So the Red Wings have got to at least get 1 point tonight and then possibly 2 points tomorrow. I mean, Ottawa's directly behind them in the playoff race, and now the way that Pittsburgh's played, they've climbed back into the wildcard spot as well, alongside with the Islanders. Maybe the Islanders, who are in first right now, will get out of it because they'll have less games in hand. They have about 5 games played more than everybody else, so they'll be less busy in this second half side of it. But from what I've seen for the Red Wings, they've given up 2 power play goals against Ottawa. They had 5 infractions at one point when I've been watching, and it's 4:40 left to go in the second. But too many, and Ottawa's really dynamic on the power play. As Larkin's able to break right through off the forehand side, and he got denied by Cam Talbot. So we'll have to see how this goes. But Detroit really needs to. Wow, what a back pass, and what a great save by Talbot again. As Robbie Fabry got set up there, but big points. I mean, I'm thinking the next 2 games with this right now and tomorrow, as they're both at the Canadian Tire Center, like I said. Red Wings are going to have to take 3 out of 4. I mean, I don't see any other way to talk about this. So we're going to flip back over on NHL Network. I think we got another 3 minutes or so before the puck is dropped at TD Garden. It's going to be, well, actually, it's going to be at Rogers Arena. It's going to be Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers. So this will be at Rogers Place. Should be a lot of fun. And Larkin just hit the goal post. Oh, my goodness. As this is spun around the end boards here, Robbie Fabry is patient as he circles around. Hronek trying to block this with his skate blade as David Perron will go back to Hronek now. Into the traffic, David Perron will collect now near the left side dot. Perron Now drops to Hronik in the high slot. Back to David as he bounced it off the skate. He lifted it high. Tyler Bertuzzi able to collect now with Robbie Fabry near the right circle. Hronik fakes the slap shot as he passes off the slap to Perron. Perron will walk in between the circles as Larkin able to flip it. Hronik in the same spot as the Red Wings continue to stay patient, looking for a deflection for Bertuzzi, but it actually goes back to Perron. Now he tries to flip it out of the outside of the cage. Bertuzzi trying to battle out of the air. Red Wings keep this in tight. Extra pass across, and bodies are everywhere. And Fabry gets denied, and now we get some bear hugs in between Larkin. Some gloves are flying off. And between Fabry and Bertuzzi, things are getting wild here in Ottawa. And now I think the camera cut away from a potential tackle. Yes, it did. Travis Hamonic absolutely levels Dylan Larkin, and Robbie Fabry wants to come to his defense, which is what a good winger should do with their captain. I got to flip back over to our game, otherwise I won't leave that Red Wings game right now. So I know that there's a lot on the line for me for the hometown side, but even if Cooper Hopkins isn't available for Thursday, we'll do Detroit and Seattle. I do want to cover one of these Red Wings games at some point. So it's still, we're waiting here, 45-8-5, 95 points for Boston, 32-28, 72 points for the Edmonton Oilers. So my question tonight for everybody here that is listening, I threw this in. I said, does Connor McDavid get at least 3 points against the Bruins tonight? I know that that's an absolutely lofty point total. We'll have to get the best team in the NHL, but we're going to have one vote that says yes. So I'm thinking he's going to have a hell of a show. Edmonton, over the last stretch of their 8 games, they've averaged about 6. I know this is the Boston Bruins. Jeremy Swayman's number has been pretty good, as we said. He's at a 234. That's certainly not bad. But Linus Ullmark is about 180. So that's why he's going to get the Vezina considerations. In all likelihood, he will win it. Fallen says, let's just say the Bruins make it to the final. Which teams do you believe has the best capability to defeat them? Fallen, I have to take the easy route over the last couple games that we've covered here and say that the Colorado Avalanche will get all the way to the Stanley Cup final again. And I think that that's the team that I have to look at. Will I say that in between Alexander Georgiev versus Linus Ullmark, that Linus Ullmark has the advantage? Yes, I would. But even with that offensive capability that Boston's shown, they've had a tremendous year, and I won't doubt anything that they've done. They're likely to get a President's Trophy, and I bet that they will. I think Colorado will be the one that will stand the test of time in that West, though. If there is any other team in the West that can come out there, to be honest with you, I don't see it. Because look at what happened to Edmonton, and we're going to be talking about them in this game, against Colorado last year. They got swept. So that would be the one team I would say. So I'm still going to go ahead and take Colorado to repeat. I said that at the beginning of the year. I think that they're going to be there. I didn't think anyone expected Boston to be this good, but I will say they were going to be a playoff team regardless. People were shunning them all the way across. But I'm going to say Colorado-Boston, and I think that's going to be an excellent series. I'd say it's going to go at least 6 games before Colorado takes it. That's my thought at this point. But I don't see – here's the problem. We talk about this a lot in the East. If you want to go ahead and make the playoffs, you got to beat Tampa Bay. You got to beat Carolina, which they weren't able to do on that side. New York Rangers are very tough. I think the East is always very fallacious. The East makes it very, very difficult to get all the way across the board and get there. So the Bruins are going to have the tougher path if they want to get the Stanley Cup final. For as good as they are, and I think they're going to do it, they got a hell of a road in front of them. Fallen says, I'd agree. When the Avs are healthy, they're extremely dangerous, and they're hot streak right now. It'd be an outstanding final if it was Avs Bruins. I agree with you there on Fallen. I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what fans want to see, regardless if it's not your favorite team. You want to see the best play. So here we go. NHL Network is carrying the Sportsnet feed, and again on that side, since it's on NHL Network, we got to carry the TV feed. So I'm going to try to bring this to you here. It's a little bit more blurry on that side. We don't get the full HD. So hopefully I get all my calls. I know that sounds like a small first world problem, but sometimes it is hard to see. So Kawhi Yamamoto will pick this up now near the right side dot as this will go back. You get a chance to see Dmitry Orlov tonight here for the Boston Bruins as he was picked up from the Washington Capitals. Garnet Hathaway is going to be on the 4th line as well. So the Edmonton Oilers now will attempt to go left to right as this gets flipped over the glass. But I don't think this is going to be a penalty. This was just outside the last touched by some other stick blades. As you get a chance to look at Darnell Nurse, sometimes I like to say some things about Darnell Nurse. I don't want to be completely disparaging. I say a little bit overrated. But when you look at his numbers this year, 31 points, which is very good. He's a plus 20. So he's turned that all the way around there for Edmonton to be one of those linchpins on defense. As we're going to get a neutral zone face-off here that's claimed by Edmonton. And Edmonton is going to have the blue pants with the orange piping and the blue in the middle as they're sitting at home right now as a shot gets saved by Swayman. And for the Boston Bruins, it'll be right to left as they have the white shirt with the black pants. It's original 6 teams against the Edmonton Oilers right now, as a check was eluded by McLeod and Connor Clifton trying to keep this alive off the forehand as McLeod will race for it, and Derek Forbert trying to get a piece as Edmonton has it in the offensive end. They try to pass this all the way around the inboards, but the camera lost a little bit. It's picked up near the right dot as McDavid trying to set up Zach Hyman, and that was a good save by the left pad of Jeremy Swayman. As now it's 4-2 Ottawa against Detroit on that side. So glad I switched because I might shed a tear on that side as this is wrapped around the kick plate. And now Boston able to collect. They get in the offensive end. Big time Hummer off the slap shot. And that goes all the way back around the end boards. This is going to allow Draisaitl to pivot. He's holding now near the right side boards. Now he tries to beat his man off of the backhand side as Draisaitl was putting on a skating display. And now this will get deflected from Bouchard as Swayman will hit this with the goal stick. And Bouchard somehow keeps this in. He looked like he was offsides, but here's Edmonton as Bouchard's now is in the high slot. He lost it though. Good active stick check. As this is Trent Frederic. Frederic now gets canceled off by Draisaitl, but Frederic will try to race forward as Leon's got the puck. And this is a gorgeous outstretched pass. Scores! Edmonton gets on the board. Draisaitl to McDavid. And that's how quick it happens. Edmonton takes the lead. That was a 50-foot pass from Leon Draisaitl to McDavid. And Edmonton off the board and running. And I guess I look a little smart when I threw this in the comment question on the side of, does McDavid get 3 points tonight against the Bruins? Well, when you get a 50-foot outstretched pass and a shot that's bled right through the blocker and beats Swayman, Connor McDavid on a mano-a-mano against McAvoy, McDavid's going to win that matchup. I don't care who he's up against right now with that kind of speed. And Edmonton will take the lead. Absolutely scintillating goal to start this game right now as the fans are just still getting in their seats. 17:30, and look at what I found on the other end. It's the Boston Bruins tying it up immediately. It was a pass in front of the slot. Nobody picks up former Vegas Golden Knight, former Red Wing Tomas Nosek. And on the fourth line, Boston will answer. And so this is flipped in as this tries to find Stuart Skinner off the back pass. Edmonton turns it over as they try to put this around the inboards. This bounces off of Forbert's skate unless that was a back pass. I need to take a look at this one more time. That was a gorgeous back pass by the Bruins. 2 outstanding goals as Dmitry Orlov and Hathaway. Hathaway with a no-look to Nosek, and this game is tied at 1. Wow. So this goes now back through the neutral zone. 2 highlight reel goals, and it's 17:10 left to go in the first. That's how you start your Monday. Here's the Bruins again in between the circles. And now the Oilers just need to try to get some puck possession as Patrice Bergeron will try to get a piece of it now. This goes in the offensive end as Dry will get this across. This goes across the D side for Sharp, and this is swallowed up by Swayman. 16:56 left to go in the first. We already have a pair of goals on both sides. So Tomas Nosek and Connor McDavid, it's a 1-1 game with 16:56 left to go in the first. John here with you. We have the Sportsnet feed, but this is on NHL Network only, so this is the cable TV only side. And I apologize that I cannot show any side of the TV on the YouTube. Otherwise, it'd be completely demonetized. Not that I ever would be monetized, but never be able to do these streams again. I like to bring this to you from day to day and week to week. So keep the comments coming. You can join me on Twitter Spaces at John Ryan Ott. Same handle on the YouTube side. Leave your comments, questions, and concerns. It's face-off one. As this one, a Kulak chance, which will go off the kick plate and picked up now. As Fogle got worked off the puck, Draisaitl with his 53rd assist of the year off the McDavid, and then Nosek at 2:30 with his fourth of the season for Garnet Hathaway and Dmitry Orlov. As David Krejci can't find it, McDavid will try to flip this out, but this stays here with Boston. They pick it up now near the right side. Dot fake the slapper as Krejci, but nobody back there on the D side. They were trying to make some changes for Jim McCown's squad. Off the end boards, and Boston will collect in their own end as it's Dmitry Orlov. He's wearing number 81. As it's picked up now across the red line, and Boston will try to trip it in. And when somebody blows a tire there, that was Cody Ceci. But this is with the Oilers off the flip pass. Cody Ceci gains the entry onto the right side, but he got canceled off by Orlov. As this is spun around for Charlie McAvoy. Back pass, McAvoy will collect off the forehand. He'll bank this off the end boards. As try to gain the entry there was Garnet Hathaway. This will touch the stick of Stuart Skinner. Spun around. Edmonton's got it now on their own end as they'll look for a long breakout pass. And it's McDavid again as he seizes up near the right dot. It's Ceci as they'll go D-to-D with Bouchard, and they'll fire another one, but this goes up the outside of the cage. Connor spins around as this finds McAvoy. He'll get back to the defensive side and assume those responsibilities. This will find Stuart Skinner, and he'll take no chances at hold. As we get a little meeting here between Trent Frederick and Darnell Nurse, but the refs will separate this quickly. It's 3-2. With 15:26 left to go in the first. John here with you on the play-by-play. I'm going to be all my lonesome here for a couple days. It's going to be a hockey assignment today, and then tomorrow I think it's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies and the LA Lakers on TNT. That'll be a 7:30 Eastern start. I should be joined by Alec Nava on Wednesday between New Jersey and Colorado, where will be the debut of Timo Meier. So that should be a lot of fun. And then Cooper Hopkins will either join me Thursday or Saturday. Trying to stream 6 out of 7 days this week because the following week is going to be a couple on-location assignments, and I'll be busy. Going to not have a lot of streams the following week. So we're going to try to load it this week. As this is picked up now by the Bruins, and that was blocked. That was a Pastrnak shot off the wrist. And this will go back in the defensive end for Brandon Carlo. Now Carlo gets this off the forehand. It's Pastrnak almost lost him between the skates, but DeBrusk with a nice little sauce pass ahead, trying to find Captain Patrice Bergeron. And Bergeron now play his back pass, so they got deflected off of a diving shot block, but this stays with the Bruins as someone takes a seat. That was Pastrnak again, as he's already been hit a couple times. First in the NHL, the 45-8-5 record, 6 more wins than the next team in this season right now. That's absolutely crazy. Stuart Skinner's pass, that was a little matriculous. And now this will get picked up here by the Oilers as Clint Costin seriously gave Connor Clifton a ride, but he pops right back up near the right side of the end boards. Draisaitl's pass, as this gets fake, goes back to Leon, and a good block. And now Leon's got it now. He's going to fire it wide just to the right side red line. Clint Costin delivered the absolute boom. That was a POD right there. As this is picked up now by A.J. Greer, he tries to get a piece of it. He reverse hits himself off the glass, and Nosek can't hold it. This will go back to the D side for the Oilers, but a good race for the puck. See who can get to it as Boston clears the neutral zone. Now they'll go back in their own end. There's a couple touch passes in between McAvoy and Orlov, as this will get flipped in. Now, near the left side red line, Edmonton and Boston, there's 2 jerseys apiece. Jesse Puljujärvi will try to pry this loose. Now flipped in off the left side of the boards. As Warren Fogle tries to get a piece of it. There's Charlie McAvoy all the way back. Oilers lost a 6-5 game against the Blue Jackets the other day. 7 goals combined in that second period. There's an outstretched pass, just eluded Greer. Spun around now, David Krejci. It's Pastrnak. Pastrnak now near the right side wall. He got upended again. That's the 3rd time he's been hit in this game. Not even 10 minutes into the first. It's 13-10 as this is flipped down near the left side red line. Carlo will spin as this will go with the Bruins. But again, good active check here by the Oilers. Both teams have good attention to detail right now in the first 7 minutes of this contest. As this goes across the red line, splashed across the Oilers logo. It's Tyson Barrie trying to hold off the forehand. We'll try to send this around the end boards as this stays busy and behind the net. Swayman got a look near the right side dot. And McDavid bomb. This bounces back a couple of times off of Bruins players This stays in with the Oilers, but this will finally be collected by Trent Frederick as he just brushes this with the stick away from RNH. And Stuart Skinner will leave it for Tyson Barrie. Tyson Barrie now, RNH. Here's a chance to gain the entry. What a great setup there, McDavid, as he just streaked through 4 Bruins players that looked like bowling pins. When you have that kind of speed, that's what happens. Jeremy Swayman now for Derek Forbort in his own end. Derek Forbort with a 40-foot pass, as this will go to Ryan McLeod. And now McLeod will try to get a piece of that with Brett Kulak as Charlie Coyle gets worked off the puck near the players' bench. This goes around the end boards now as players will come together, and Forbort has to get away from the body. A good reverse hit on the other side between Carlo and one of the Oilers. There's been some heavy hitting in this contest, as this is a nice touch pass there by the Bruins. But this gets sent down the ice. It won't be ice, though, not far enough. Near the left side dot as Brett Kulak will take a piece of it. One of them falls down. That was RNH as the Oilers try to gain the offensive end, but it's Pavel Zacha, former New Jersey Devil. You got a nice 6-year deal from the Bruins this year. As this is flipped back, here is a 2-on-2. It's McDavid off the drop for Bouchard. Extra pass. Oh, missed the net. Oh, my goodness. It was an opportunity for Draisaitl, and he just missed it. It's 11:15 left to go in the first. And now the Oilers trying to gain the entry again with Draisaitl, and now back to Bouchard. Every single time that first liner, potentially mixed, touches that puck in between Draisaitl and McDavid, you know the magic's going to happen. Bouchard trying to gain the entry, but the Oilers are effectively offside. That's going to allow the Bruins to make a nice 100-foot pass here. Pastrnak now to DeBrusk, trying to flip this out of the air. Krejci will put this around the inboards, but it finds Tyson Barrie. Long flip toward the left side of the red line. We'll see who can get to this. Tyson Barrie had to get off of a check. Jesse Puljujärvi will get a piece of it. The Edmonton Oilers will collect it. It's McLeod. It goes through the blue paint. Puljujärvi trying to get a piece of it now as he's back and behind the net. He tried to backhand it, but he got stick lifted expertly. And now the Bruins maybe can make something happen as this almost bounces off one of the Oilers. This will touch the stick of Stuart Skinner. And now here's Darnell Nurse, as this game's had one hell of a pace to it right now. 6-game win streak, 26-11 outscoring opponents of the Bruins, but that was only inflated from a 6-5 win against the Seattle Kraken. Otherwise, the Bruins aren't giving up anything. They're looking for their 3rd consecutive 7-game win streak of the season. Again, if you want me to repeat that, I can. 3rd consecutive 7-game win streak. As this is picked up now by Frederick, but that was nicely poke checked ahead. And now Foligno can't find it. And this will find the defense of the Edmonton Oilers, and they'll spin this back around. Desharnais tries to get to it. Hathaway will try to knock this away from RNH. And Bruins will collect. Love the pace right now. As I've said, we've not had any stoppages right now. We've had some scintillating goals, 2 apiece, one from McDavid and one from Tomas Nosek. As this goes around the inboards here, Hathaway trying to get a piece of it as this is with Patrice Bergeron. Bergeron will send this back around. And Jim Montgomery, no stranger, you're trying to shuffle some lines when you got Hathaway out there with Bergeron on the first line side just to see what's going to work as you get your new acquisitions. You got Hathaway and Orlov from the Caps. Here's an entry here, as this will be Bergeron. He's going to be patient. He's looking for a deflection instead. Pavel Zacha couldn't get there in time, as the Edmonton Oilers will flip it down, but this will go back here for the Boston Bruins. Long outstretched pass in across the red line. Good no-look backhand. He got Pastrnak streaking toward the net, and the puck did not get there in time, or might have just glanced off the stick. Draisaitl will just play this, try to find the in mark. And Hampus Lindholm, again, he's one of the best plus-minus in the NHL. He will intercept. Krejci can't get to it as this gets flipped. Back to Draisaitl now. Connor Clifton will get a piece in his own end of the left side red line. He'll make a pivot. Now he's going to try to possibly break out as they get another good outstretched pass and a long shot. That goes off the right blocker of Stuart Skinner. And now the other way. Here's Draisaitl between the circles. Now it's McDavid. He's going to let one go short side, and Derek Forbort got a piece of it. And here is the Oilers again as Draisaitl tried to find McDavid, but his pass went off the left pad of Jeremy Swayman. Picked up now by the Oilers again as they gain the interception and try to drop it to Connor. And now this goes to the Bruins as they'll get across the Oilers logo in the neutral zone. It canceled off near the right boards. And Edmonton, it's 3-on-3. Draisaitl, patient, finds Cotter. Series of backhand weaves. And Swayman has to hold with 7:41 left to go in the first. Let's go to a commercial break. I need some water. It's 1-1 between these two teams. I'm glad we started with this game this week. My goodness. Fallen says, well, let's go to It's Avery. It says, where do you watch this? We can't find it streaming anywhere. So It's Avery, if you have ESPN Plus, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get it tonight because NHL Network carries the game. And when NHL Network carries the game, it pretty much blackouts anything on ESPN Plus. So that's what Fallen says. Might be blacked out to where you are. Happens to me. I can't watch most of my team's games. Not going to listen on the radio. That's another good call there as well if you're not listening here. But hope you guys enjoy it. Fallen says, what team do you believe is the dark horse right now? Let me look in the NHL standings just to kind of get my bearings here and look at this landscape. I'm going to pull up this box, and then we will go to the standings as we're in a commercial break. I just want to look and see where the teams are at. So there's teams that I like, but as far as a dark horse, I'm going to have to go with, and again, I don't think it's fair to even call them dark horse. Would you call Carolina, New Jersey, or New York all dark horses? I don't think you can. You can't even call Tampa or Toronto or Boston a dark horse. So I'm going to cancel off everything I say in the East. I don't think it's fair to call any of those teams dark horses because you could see them all lifting the cup. Who I like the LA Kings, but the LA Kings, here's the problem. When you have Jonathan Quick and you have Phoenix Copley, look, I'm not saying they're bad goaltenders, but you can't have a goaltending goals against at the side of close to 3. And that's the one spot that the LA Kings really have a weakness on. I think that they can absolutely light up the scoreboard at times. They can play some great hockey. They can roll out 4 lines that are great, but that goaltending is going to burn them. And that's the same thing I would say with the Seattle Kraken. I think that they could be a dark horse, especially in the West, but the goaltending in between Grubauer and Martin Jones is just not good enough. And I think that that's what's going to stop some of those dark horses. If you're going to force me to take a team in the East that I'll call dark horse and say that only a name only, I'll go ahead and I'll say I'm going to say the New York Rangers, but I just don't think that that's fair. So now 7:20 left to go in this first, as this is picked up now for the Edmonton Oilers. Let me know what you think about that and give me your thoughts as well, as this is picked up here in the offensive end. Warlock will get this across there for McAvoy. Fire it right on. Into the breadbasket of Stuart Skinner as McAvoy has a couple words across, but it's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Boston Bruins. Again, dark horse, I think, is you have the right terminology, because I think that's absolutely the right thing to say. Panthers dark horses due to them struggling a bit recently, but you never know what could happen. That's interesting they're falling, because I agree with you. I think that that's the best terminology to say that, but I don't know. I mean, besides Matthew Tkachuk, the Panthers don't look like the same team. It was very curious to me when they fired Andrew Burnett, right? Because they were the best offense in the NHL. Yeah, they got slammed by their big brother in the Tampa Bay Lightning, got swept, but are you really going to blame them on that side? I think that was very difficult for them to go ahead and win that series. And to make those type of changes and hire Paul Maurice, I don't know if that was the right move, although I do agree with the Matthew Tkachuk trade. If you knew you weren't going to be able to sign Jonathan Huberdeau and stuff, you get what you can get out of it. Matthew Tkachuk has looked really good in a Florida uniform, and he will for a long, long time. As this is flipped now between CC and the defensive end. But you have the correct terminology over me. I was just trying to throw some other teams out there, but I just don't feel like Florida's going to get in there. But maybe it's going to be the Islanders, or Pittsburgh will stay in, but maybe it'll be the Islanders that'll fall out. So this will be Hampus Lindholm now off the drop pass, as this is Krejci. He'll hold off the backhand and now spin it around the kick plate, as Trent Frederick will try to get there. Frederick now. He's engaged with CC now near the left side of the red line, as this will stay with Krejci. He's just not getting away from this puck right now as RNH trying to provide some back support. Krejci has it again. He's got to be getting tired now near the right side boards as he's continually being pinned. And this will stay with McAvoy. Put it around the inboards again. It's Krejci. He's just a man on a mission right now with Trent Frederick. They can't dispossess the Bruins of the puck right now. And now this would be a chance as Darnell Nurse has to get her on a hip. Pavel Zacha dispossessed him of the puck, and two of the Bruins came together in the offensive end on pure accident. Now it's former Michigan Wolverine Zach Hyman will flip this, and again I like to say that because listen to me from Detroit, Michigan right now as we're doing this broadcast on NHL Network. It's Derek Forbert. His outstretched pass will bounce into the players' bench. The Oilers are 2-2-3 in their last 7 games, and if we look at the last 10. Let me see if I have my math correctly. We're going to go to another commercial break. But in the last 10, if I have this in front of me, it's 4-3-3. Let's go to a commercial break, and we'll talk a little more after. So Fallon says definitely not the same as they were last year. The Islanders are an interesting team as well. They may slip into a playoff spot. I think they may have the potential to anyway. So I don't disagree with you at all. I think you're correct in that assessment. The only thing, again, if we're all scoreboard watching at this point, are we not? As most teams have 23, 24 games played. Here's the problem with the Islanders. As most teams have about 58 games played, Islanders have 63. So in one way, you can look and say, all right, they're not going to be as tired in the back half. It's an 82-game grueling season. Everybody's going to be tired. But what I'm saying is not playing as many games. So maybe you got a couple days off here and there to be able to rest up a little bit for the bodies. But when you have 4 or 5 games that are not in hand, if you don't take advantage of the games that are in front of you and get the wins, then that means you're really not putting yourself in the right situation and you don't have control of your own destiny. So there's less margin of runway for the Islanders. And that might be what's going to be the undoing. But I will say this, between Lou Lamoriello and Bo Horvat, I think that was the right deal. Although Lamoriello always says, I probably signed everybody too long, getting everybody signed for 7-8 years. But here's the thing. When I'm at UBS Arena, what's I'm an Islanders fan, just like for the Atlanta Braves for baseball. Let's think about it. Everybody's locked up. You can wear those jerseys. You can be a fan. You know who's going to be on your team at the end of the day. And that's got to feel good. You have stability on that back end. So I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and listening aloud and keep doing so. As this goes for looking at some camera shots here between Rogers Place. It's a 1-1 contest. We will get you a scoreline recent. I'm going to have to type in some goals in my game summary to the game coverage at the end of the night. So picking back up into the play-by-play. This is the Boston Bruins now near the neutral zone as they will gain the entry. And I'll have to pull my rosters back up as this is put around the end boards. And a chance now for the Bruins to get puck possession, but good hold there by the Oilers just to get a piece of that body. And Draisaitl's pass trying to find Connor McDavid, trying to stretch it through. Collar Yamamoto. And now it's Foligno. He's got a drop pass. Give it back. Foligno's wide open. He scores! Streaking down the middle of the ice. And the Bruins take a 2-1 lead. That looked too easy there. Connor McDavid trying to find Yamamoto with a little bit of a chip flip in the offensive end, and that was a turnover. And it went completely the other way. It was just a pass toward the right wing side and a good give and go as nobody picked up Foligno right in the middle of the circles. And he lifts and separates the puck. It's a 2-1 lead for the Bees on the road here. They are 45, 8-5 on the season again. They are 9 points ahead of Carolina. They have games in hand. They have points in hand. They have been the best team all year. And the reason why I wanted to open with this game today is because Edmonton's been scoring in bushels. As this is wrapped around the end boards again, now this will go between the circles and collected. As Hampus Lindholm watched the pass a little bit too far and off the end boards. It's 2-1 now. Charle Coyle with his 20th apple of the year from the Foligno goal, his 10th. 4:25 left to go in this first. Jordan here with you. Been a fantastic contest so far between Boston and Edmonton. It's 2-1. This is on NHL Network, so ESPN side will be blacked out. Glad to be able to bring this to you here today on the TV side. Is Marchand has it now. Marchand with this pass here for Jake DeBrusk. It's a 3-on-2, but back checking is Fogle, and this shot goes off the right pad of Stuart Skinner. It's near the right behind the net of Skinner as he's holding on to that right post as the Oilers try to get a piece of it off the backhand. Oilers now will collect in their own end, and they'll try to transition into the neutral as they get a long flippant pass, and this one will touch Hampus Lindholm as he'll take his time in behind the office of Jeremy Swayman that's now enjoying a 2-1 lead. As this pass try to find Pavel Zacha from David Pastrnak, and the Oilers will slap shot this around the kick plate. There's a battle now near the right side dot. Pastrnak waiting for the puck to get there. RNH will kick this as is Zach Hyman holding off the forehand, now working his way to the backhand off the pivot. It's RNH. He's had a fantastic year. It's third in points on the team. He's got about 70. This takes a pass off the embankment. This will stay with the Oilers as it bounced right in front of Swayman. And now Hyman for RNH. He tries to center it through a survey into the blue pink. And this will go back to the defensive side. This pass gets picked off, actually. Pastrnak will just flip it to an empty right faceoff dot in the offensive end, and another reverse hit, but one of the Bruins stays on his feet as one of the Oilers and McAvoy made life difficult there to try to gain the entry. Stuart Skinner will watch this go around, and this will go back now here for Tyson Barrie. Barrie, Yamamoto going down the left side circle as he gets taken off the puck. And now it's Zacha off the backhand as Connor McDavid gets in his way. Got to be careful of that stick. He didn't want to trip over it. It's in the defensive end of the Oilers. This will go around and be picked up now near the left side wing. It's Charle Coyle live off his forehand. One of the Oilers blows a tire. Here's Coyle down near the left side dot, still working off his backhand, trying to center this up for Hathaway as he tries to step away at it. And Marchand can't get to it. As McDavid will get his pass and away from that stick again. It's still active right now, so they can't leave it alone from the right side of the neutral zone. And Garnet Hathaway will spin. It's 1-on-3 as he's still trying to buy some time. It's in between his skate blades. And Hathaway still with this with the help of Marchand and Jake DeBrusk. And Bouchard, wow, this bounced dangerously there for Jake DeBrusk. And I don't really know how. It's a minute 45 left to go in this first. John here with you on the play-by-play. It's a 2-1 lead, as it was the latest goal from Nick Foligno from Charle Coyle. 2-1 for Boston over Edmonton. We are at Rogers Place right now. And offside entry again for Draisaitl. And we'll do it again. 1:32 left to go in the first. So we'll go to commercial break, and then we'll finish off this first period. Stick around.
Last year, I got stuck paying for Texas internet for months before I finally caught it. That won't happen again in 2023, thanks to Rocket Money. Rocket Money finds hidden subscriptions.
So I appreciate plenty of comments that we've had between Fallen and It's Avery on that side. Again, if you want the clear audio, you can follow along on Twitter Spaces at John Reinhardt. Same handle as the YouTube side. And you can interact with me as well if you want to join in on the play-by-play side, or if you just want to listen in like you guys are doing. I appreciate it. So Ottawa's going to take this first game against Detroit most likely. It's 5-2 with 16:39 left to go in the third. So Detroit's really going to have to come back the next day at the Canadian Tire Center with Ville Husso in the second game and take it. Because if they don't, Ottawa's going to get right back in the playoff spot, and Buffalo's already 2 points ahead. And that will take Detroit quickly out of it for as quick as they got into it over the last 7 out of 9. We'll take you around the league as well. First thing I'm going to do, though, once this period's done, is I'm going to type in these goals, make sure I get stuff set up for the game story. Then we'll go around the league, and then we'll probably talk about some trade deadlines. So it should be an active first period intermission, maybe not so much in the second, as I'll probably go ahead and get some more water. I'm going to need some in this game for sure. Another contest that I thought about doing was Vegas and Colorado, but we might already hit Colorado a couple times this week, so I didn't want to overdo it. So this game on NHL Network between Boston and Edmonton, it's interconference matchups you don't get very often. We expected for both of these teams, and waiting a long time to see each other for the first time, and disappointed early in this game. So it's just the first meeting of the season between these two. So if this continues this way, I might have to cover this second when we get to it. So a neutral zone draw upcoming as this one's won by Cody McLeod, and we'll spin this around. This will find Swayman with $1.25 left to go in this first. And this has been a fantastic game so far. This is a broken stick near the left side of the offensive end on the dot for Edmonton if they can get there, but they're in behind their own net right now with McLeod. We'll have to play this off the backhand and across the red line now. Matthias Janmark had his pass intercepted. David Pastrnak tried to shoot fly-full, but he went wide near the left side of the red line. And now it's Edmonton with McLeod as they'll try to gain the forehand entry off the drop pass and a long shot that gets blocked aside by Swayman as we've hit 50 seconds left to go in the first. Pasternak's pass gets intercepted across the Oilers logo, and Darnell Nurse will take his time. He'll slam this around the kick play with a wrist shot clear, and this stays with the Oilers. Draisaitl with an opportunity for McDavid, and that goes off the right pad of Swayman as he was in perfect position. He really didn't have to move. And now down to 30 seconds. Boston has a 2-1 lead, courtesy of a Nick Foligno and Charlie Coyle goal, the last one that was. As this goes back D to D, it's CC from Nurse, and now Draisaitl, patient near the right side dot. No power plays just yet, but we've had 3 goals. As it's Connor, he's got it now near the right side dot. I'll drop it back here for Cody CC. 10 seconds left to work within the period. Draisaitl and McDavid try to tip that out of the air. This will go back here for Hampus Lindholm, but this is a chance for Cece. If he can shoot it quickly, now it's Nurse. Got to let it go, but it's wide. 10-7 on the shot board in favor of Boston. They got a 2-1 lead after 1. Come right back. We'll call second period action in a moment. So we get these goals typed in, and then we will take you all the way around it. I just want to make sure I get all these before I forget on the story side.
It was going to be high scoring, high pace. So what can you say about that first break?
I loved it. I mean, that's the way hockey should be played. You mentioned high pace, speed. There was goals. There was hits. I thought it was
A lot of hard hits.
and that's great hockey. I mean, it was played, and we saw an injury, and thankfully Brad Marchand is back. But that's the way hockey should be played. I really enjoyed that period.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the first period highlights and talking about Brad Marchand, who did have an issue with an ankle, it looked like.
Yeah, but I think it was a suture, a slice. And you see the skate of Darnell Nurse just kind of come up a little bit. There's a little bit of room between the skate boot and the shin pad. It's exposed. And I think that's right where he got sliced. That can be very dangerous if it's a tendon. But I'm pretty sure he once got to get sutured up. He seems to be okay.
He's back. All right. And then early on, we get this one. Connor McDavid, 7 goals in his last 3 games. And a frame.
Yeah, well, how do you not know he's in behind? That's Charlie McAvoy. It's a great pass by Leon Draisaitl. That's literally a 100-foot pass. McAvoy tries to get back, and he gets the 5-hole on Swayman. That is classic Connor McDavid.
But the thing is, 13 seconds later, Oilers respond.
You know, and that's one thing I talked about the Edmonton Oilers defense. They sometimes get running around in their own zone. They turn a puck over. That's just a great little deft pass to Nosek. That's halfway down low. That's a little puck pass right there. Backwards between his legs. Nosek with the goal. Orlov also had an assist on that play.
Do you know that pitching it?
Yeah, isn't that nice? And look, you mentioned 13 seconds after a goal, that takes the life out of the goal.
And then a really great opportunity here, but not able to tackle.
Yeah, I like this play by Bouchard. Absolutely sets up Yamamoto. He's got a wide open cage. Maybe the puck's on edge. You gotta watch it from this angle. But you gotta score that goal. That's an excellent opportunity to go ahead again. They don't. And then what happens? Well, Connor McDavid turns it over, turns into a 2-on-1. What a pass. Charlie Coyle throws it back to the Oilers, gives it back to Marcus Foligno. And how about Marcus Foligno? People thought that he was going to be out of Boston last year. Only scored 2 goals. He's got 10 now this year. And a great play by Coyle. That restores, gives them the first lead of the night. That's 2-1. Excellent all-around play for the Boston Bruins.
That Nick Foligno goal gave Boston the 2-1 lead, but as we were watching that unfold, there was something that caught your eye on that Foligno goal. Was that more of a mistake or a breakthrough by Edmonton?
Yeah, it was the defenseman Brett Kulak, and you don't like to point fingers, but I just thought he committed a little too much over to Charlie Coyle. As you watch it, it's a turnover by Connor McDavid, but he gets on his horse and he gets back. He's basically taking the puck away. Kulak, now he's gone over to play it. That's not the dangerous man. The dangerous man's in the middle of the ice. That's Nick Foligno. He took one stride over towards Coyle. That opens up the passing lane. And as we run this, he takes advantage. Great pass by Coyle. A nice finish by Foligno. But as a defenseman, watch, as you're backing up, play the 2-on-1. Right now, stop. You got to stay with the guy in the middle. Charlie Coyle is not going to score from there. 65 feet out, well off to the boards. And as you run it, totally commits to Coyle, as does Connor McDavid. I think Kulak realized it at the last second, trying to get back, but he couldn't. Real good play by Boston, but for every good play, there's a mistake on the other end, and I think the mistake there was on Kulak. So just as a defenseman, leave the goalie to the guy with the puck. He's not going to hurt you from the boards. Take away the guy driving the net. That was Foligno, and he didn't do it.
10 different players with at least 10 goals this season. How impressive is that?
Yeah, that speaks to their depth. I mean, when you get 10 guys, and we're almost 2/3 of the way through the season, but you've got 10 guys with 10 goals. They're spreading it out, and that's what makes the Boston Bruins so tough to play against. Their top two lines.
I'm going to get all my stuff typed up here in this intermission, it looks like, because I know the Ottawa Senators and the Red Wings game is pretty much over. I don't think that Detroit is going to get past a 3-goal deficit with half the period left to go. That's all they got. They gave up 4 in the second, and that's going to be the undoing. So hopefully this will alleviate some of my typing time for having to do 3 assignments tonight, but only covering 1 game at least.
You're never responsible for unauthorized purchases on your debit card.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but at AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy S23.
Wait, really? What about this?
AT&T deal is back. Everyone gets a free new Samsung Galaxy S23 with a Galaxy phone rented. Any year, any condition.
Everything you've seen me do is made possible by what you don't see. Because when you're not looking, I go to work. Strength isn't a gift. It's grown. It's earned and tested. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tone, be your strongest.
Get on the volunteer. We need promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes promotional product success easy. For high-quality items, go to 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
Why did we choose Safe Life? For us, driving around is the only way we can get our baby to sleep. So when our windshield's cracked, we needed it fixed right. We went to SafeLife.com. There's no one else we trust. Their experts replaced our windshield and recalibrated our car's advanced safety system. They focus on our safety, so we can focus on this little guy.
Safe Life Repair, Safe Life Replace. There's a new victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. And checking your credit score or bank statements may not be enough to alert you. That's because identity threats appear in more places than you realize. Identity thieves can use your information to open loans, transfer home titles, and commit crimes.
Someone stole my information. Everybody's arguing.
LifeLock monitors the threats to your identity, including ones you may miss, and alerts you if there's an issue. And if you're a victim, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialists will work to fix it.
If something happens, you have something.
Well, here's an example of a dark horse that I can give. What about the Ottawa Senators? We know what they are, and again, I'm not just saying that because they're destroying the Red Wings right now. We know what they can do when they get on the power play. They have like the 2nd best power play in the NHL. Well, that's actually a real stat. Their power play is excellent. They're just really, really bad on even strength. That's what the story has been all year. But now you're going to get a couple of your goaltenders back. You got Cam Talbot. Derek Brassard has said that he's wanting to add at the deadline and think that this team's earned enough to be able to do so. This was a young team that people expected to make the playoffs. And now if they win a couple of these games, let's say they win again tomorrow, they're going to be in a spot where they have games in hand as well. It's just going to be between Buffalo and Ottawa, really, between that last spot. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. It's the truth. If the Red Wings lose some more of these games, they're going to get buried. These are important games.
And immediately it's passed up. And watch how it's used. He's facing the wrong way, but he stays onside. Sanderson. Drops that back to Drew, back to Sanderson. Team action score! Jake Sanderson, powerful goal. Inside ball. In the plate. Really winning the draw. Phil Drew does a good job winning the draw. Getting available, they'll give and go, and then watch the traffic in front. Derek Brassard, as well as Snyder, gets into the eyes of Magnus Halbert. He doesn't track it whatsoever.
I mean, in this game right now, Shabbat, Drew, and Zub, they've combined within the last 3 goals, and Claude Giroux's got 4 points out of their 5. So he's starting to heat up at the right time.
Redirect. He steps just to a better angle and he's able to beat Cam Talbot just over that right pad. The Red Wings are not pleased with the officiating tonight. Talbot, number the calls. Shabbat, Patrice walks in. Shoots.
What's going on, Maripol? How you doing? Jacko says, how bad was Brad Marchand cut? Brad Marchand is already back in this contest, so I don't think it was anything serious. He only missed about 3 shifts. I'm doing all right. This is going to be a busy week for myself. I know tomorrow is going to be a basketball game. I'm trying to stream 6 out of the 7 days because next week, and between a couple live assignments and a dentist appointment, I'm going to be busy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the following week. So try to load up this week now and hopefully get some good games to cover, and hopefully everybody has some fun with it. So I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Senators caught in 4 in the second frame, and the Red Wings really running into a Sens team that's really been on a hot streak. Ottawa's gone 8-3-1 in the last 12 contests and scored 4 or more goals in 6 of those games. Tonight, they are 5 so far. It is a 5-2 lead over Detroit. Let's get you updated now. Between Vancouver and Dallas, Anthony Beauvillier for Vancouver getting the scoring started in this one.
Yeah. Nice little pickup by the Vancouver Canucks. That was a bull Horvat trade. Of course, Beauvillier coming the other way along with draft pick. And there you see the goal. Kind of a play started by Peterson right here. It goes off the skate. And then Ottinger, not a great rebound, off the stick, right to Beauvillier. He pounds it in, that gives them away.
Still in the middle of the intermission. I apologize, guys. I've got a lot to type in between the Red Wings. I get the Piston stuff done too, the local side for me. So I should be good to go here in about another 2 minutes. I think we'll already be good to go anyway. I'm not going to miss the game as far as calling all that. I'm just trying to save myself some prep time for after when this game is over, so I don't have to stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, Dallas, normally known for their defense. I know this is a power play goal, but they do a little better job along the boards. The big shot from the point, Sheldon drives.
Well, it's a good thing for Pistons fans. Again, I know they're 15-47 on the year, which is all kinds of yikes. But they don't need to be winning any games because if you want to get Victor Wembanyama, kind of have to keep on losing. And Charlotte's another one of those teams that Pistons probably could have done the same where they could win and decide who wants to tank, and they decided to go ahead and take this one. 117-106. My goodness. And from what I heard this year in between Adam Silver, again, I should not say this year, but I said a couple hours ago, that they're kind of considering, instead of OTs, that you play to a specific score line like you did in the NBA All-Star game. They start doing that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I know I've transitioned a little bit of late. I think people are misnomers about me. They think I only cover hockey. The reason why I've been covering a lot of hockey is because with the ESPN Plus and everything else makes it easy to get and it's cheap. But the games are just better. I understand on the other end you get Damian Lillard the other night getting 71 and the theatrics, and Damian Lillard's one of the real guys. Said Steph Curry that's been there, stayed with one team, people really respect. You don't have a lot of that anymore in the NBA. And what was it, the game the other day? How many points was it? 175, 174, something like that between the Kings and the Clippers. Does anybody play defense anymore in the NBA? I know that was a multiple overtime game, but you get my point. Every one of these games are like 145, 150 points. Play defense. Do something. I understand the three-point line and everything else. It's really evolved over the last few. These guys are shooting from 40 feet and making it. I get that. But even back when I was getting out of high school between 2005 and it was the going to work Pistons, I understand hand checking rules and everything else are different. But if you got 80 points, it'd be a celebration. 150 now, you can't even sneeze at it. It's ridiculous, honestly. Then you got the guys that don't play half the time. There's so much load management. Tell that to anyone that's in an NHL game right now. I know it's different sports, so I can't compare apples to oranges, but they ain't no load management in the NHL. You're going to get smoked by a shot. I seen Jake Wallman have to block 5 shots for the Red Wings here today, and he blocked 4 in one sequence. He was still back out on the ice, and I'm sure that hurt. I know some people aren't going to like that, but again, I'm covering a basketball assignment tomorrow, but I call it as I see it as far as all that stuff's concerned. I still enjoy it, but I don't love it like I used to love it. I always loved hockey. You're from Michigan. If you don't love hockey and the hockey hop, if you're from Michigan and Minnesota and you don't like hockey, you're living in the wrong state. But when you have the Red Wings in there, it's easy. I get that. But I mean, come on. It's just changed so much. I mean, and I'm also in a state right now, unless you really love college athletics, which I do, all your pro sport teams, except for the Red Wings right now this year, they all suck. So it's really hard for me to do local assignments all the time. That's why I'm always going around the league, because I just don't want to watch losing all the time. I want to watch good teams, and I want to see what they do.
There are over 260,000 IT support specialist job openings in America. On Coursera, you can earn Google IT support professional certificate designed to prepare you for an IT support career in about 5 months for $39 a month. No degree or experience needed.
My job now is amazing. I can spend more time with my family.
Start a career building certificate program today on Coursera.
So I will say I like the trade for the Pistons for James Wiseman. 27 points, 9 of 11 shooting, 4 of 6 from the line. He was excellent tonight. 7 rebounds. So hopefully that continues. They're going to need it. I mean, it's better. If you're not going to pay Sadiq Bey $100 million, which I don't think they should have, go ahead and get something. You get the same draft as Sadiq Bey, you get the second pick a couple years ago.
We're back with you now, getting you ready for the second period between the Bruins and the Oilers. Right now, the Bruins with the 2-1 advantage. Now, Boston is 25-0-1 when leading at hot start, but both these teams came out with their hair on fire.
They did. But the good news if you're an Edmonton Oilers
All right, let's get back into it. I can finish this stuff in a second intermission. We're going to be under puck drop here. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Have a good night, Marpole. How you doing? I know spring training is underway as well. So we're back underneath it right now. It is the second period in between Boston and Edmonton. And now this is puck possession here as this gets flipped across the neutral zone and then gained by Boston. So they're going to be going left to right in the second period. They have 10 shots to Edmonton 7. As Cody CC got canceled off the puck, and Brad Marchand will try to slip this around the inboards with 19:25 left to go in the second. It's Tyson Barrie as he gets held near the right side of the red line with Brad Marchand. And Marchand, no stranger to try to do some slew footing or something like that in this situation, because that happened in the Kraken game. You got to call that as you see it. As Marchand tried to center this to the blue paint, and this will go back into the defensive end for the Bees. So it's a 2-1 lead for Boston. And again, they have not lost a game in regulation when carrying the lead in the first. It was at 30-0-1, I just heard. As this is put around for Foligno, trying to find his second. And Stuart Skinner will save this now near the right side post as a hold on. It's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for Boston. So Brad Marchand and Darnell Nurse got tangled up. Darnell Nurse actually did his job. He took Marchand down and kept his stick near the right ear of Marchand and made sure that Marchand wasn't doing any other kind of antics in behind the net. We know what Brad can do. And one thing for me, I am always very interested why Brad Marchand likes to do all these things, but again, he loves to play with a certain kind of swagger. I think that gets under everyone else's ire because he plays below the letter of the law. But the funny thing is, as he does that, he's also one of the best players in the NHL, so he doesn't need to do those things, but he just loves to live that way. As this gets picked up now, as it gets blocked, and Edmonton will try to flip this about 100 feet, and this will be picked up off of the tip pass, and Warren Fogle will play this off the back skate for McLeod. McLeod will fire it from a sharp angle, and this end up going back in D-to-D. Fake the slapper. Oilers have it in the high slot, and now it's a chance for Nurse. And this is swallowed up by Swayman with 18:24 left to go in the second. So, John, we're with you on the call in between the Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers. We are watching this one on Sportsnet. This is an NHL Network only game right now. So for anyone that has ESPN Plus, unfortunately, you will not be able to watch the game tonight on that platform when NHL Network carries the games. So 7-1-1 in the last 9 for Swayman, trying to make it 8-1-1. We'll see what happens right now as Draisaitl and McDavid's line is out there. They're together right now in this game, and you would think so because they're playing against Boston. So this is McDavid against Coyle. And will McDavid get kicked out? Yes, he will. So insert Leon. That's not a bad 1A, 1B situation as Leon Draisaitl off the face-off. This bounces off of McDavid. Trying to set it up for Draisaitl, and now Connor will keep this alive. So he'll kick this thing here for Clint Costin. And this one goes wide. Picked up now by Coyle as he tries to just force it back, and Tomas Nosek will have to make his pass as this goes all the way across the red line, and now Frederick gets a chance for Foligno off the forehand. We'll go D-to-D as it's Charlie McAvoy from Orlov into the traffic, now into the blue paint. And we'll see if Boston can get to it. And it looked like Edmonton was caught with their skates in the mud as they didn't want to race for it. But now it's Draisaitl. Now for Hyman near the left side wall. Now holding off the backhand is Zach Hyman, trying to stay with us and flubbed off the one-timer as this will go all the way back to Stuart Skinner. 17:25 left to go in the second. John here with you. 12 shots to 8 in favor of Boston. It's a 2-1 lead for the Bees. They'll gain the entry. Nice pivot there by Evan Bouchard. This will just knock this ahead across the red line. And this will go back to Boston. Again, Boston going to go left to right in the second period. They are in the road whites with the black pants. The Edmonton Oilers are at home at Rogers Place. They have the orange piping of the type with the blue shirts and the blue pants all mixed within that piping. As Tomas Nosek gets taken off the puck, this will be played by Skinner one more time. He's been very busy in behind his own net. As Boston 13-3-1 in their last 17. Boston, as he may be getting a penalty Patrice Bergeron has it now, the captain for the Boston Bruins. Try to lead this here for Pastrnak, but this goes to Brad Marchand instead. Marchand will just empty a backhand, and this will touch Edmonton. This will not be penalized. They said that on the Sportsnet side for a hit near the players' bench. But we'll get an icing instead. No penalties just yet. 16:29 left to go in the second. 12 shots to 9. So Hampus, Lindholm, and Clint Costin and Costin that elbow all into the players' bench, as it just seems like Hampus Lindholm. He has a front row seat with Connor McDavid and Hyman, and those guys did a great job. They pushed him right back out on the ice. They didn't give him extra punches. Said, "Here you go, buddy. Go right back on the ice." You don't see that very often. Only more of an NHL hits type of hit from the GameCube. NHL hits 2002. Good old days there. When you're not counting NHL 94 in the Genesis. As Clint Costin, like it's knocked away there and picked up around the kick plate. This goes off the backside of Swayman, but that's all right with Boston as they'll try to go left to right now. It's Charlie McAvoy here for Bergeron as he was able to walk in between the circles. Somehow that shot got deflected, and now Bergeron will collect it. He'll find it here for DeBrusk off the short side. Tried to be saved by the right pad of Skinner. It was saved, but it wasn't held. And now here's a chance for Leon. He's got the puck now in full flight as Tyson Barrie's with him. RNH, he's going to shoot a short side wrister. This matriculates around the inboards and for CC as Leon trying to find it. And now the Oilers try to keep this into the neutral zone as it's Collar Yamamoto off the drop pass here for Tyson Barrie. And McAvoy has to find this in his own end near the left side of the red line, but a hopeful pass. But it was David Pastrnak that intercepted it before anyone else. David Pastrnak trying to chip this one away from Vincent Desharnais. And David Krejci will collect here with Connor Clifton, but this can't find his stick. Supposed to be sent all the way down the ice, but it's not iced. It's Pavel Zacha will collect it all the way from 200 feet. Zacha still with it now. As he'll drop it in for Hampus Lindholm. Drive the right side of the wall as Pastrnak will try to get a stick on it. And now here comes the Oilers. Mattias Janmark, former Dallas Star. Off the backhand, it's Fogle. Good setup there. Fogle and Janmark. They try to combine with McDavid, but that one just missed. That could have easily been a goal, as this will go back to Pavel Zacha. And now this is Carlo and Clifton into the neutral zone, collected here by Charlie Coyle. Off the stick of Stuart Skinner. Skinner will play it as Coyle will actually intercept this. Coyle will blood it down, keep it alive off the backhand. It's here, the right circle, and fired wide. That was Trent Frederick. This will be picked up now by Coyle off the forehand. He's on the right side red line now as Tomas Nosek trying to get away from a couple of body contact. Oilers just trying to use the offhand to keep the body out in front as Foligno. He lost that blue line, but he's able to flip it in, at least on side, keep the puck on. As Coyle will sweep this away near the right side boards. This actually gets collected by Yamamoto. And now Janmark holding near the left side wall. He gets it sticked away. It's a nice 100-foot pass that stays in the offensive end, but Coyle can't find it. And now Bouchard take his time with 13:45 left to go in the second. Joining there with you is McDavid. Will find the entry. Tomas Nosek and Charlie McAvoy. Slap this around the inboards, but try to be held in by Kulak. It was, but only momentarily, as Kulak gets us across the Oilers logo. We'll just flip this off the no look toward the right side of the boards. And now McAvoy try to find it. Garnet Hathaway out on the ice as well as he's being held. This is near the left side of the red line as we get a momentary freeze in the feed. But we're back now on the NHL Network side. It bounced off of Hathaway's helmet, actually, but they might say hand pass. 13-12. It actually bounced off his dome. 14-9 are the shots. 2-1 lead still for Boston as we go to a commercial break.
There's going to be teams calling about him. Who's selling it? This is a July from the highway. Who will improve their team before the buzzer sounds? Get all day coverage at the trade deadline. Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
$2,628. That's how much you spent on subscriptions for all of 2022.
How me? I would have 2 or 3.
That's what we all spend. But in reality, I pay thousands of dollars a year for subscriptions we don't even know about.
How do I make sure I don't pay that much?
In 2023, Rocket Money is the financial app that tells you all the subscriptions you're paying for, even the ones that you forgot about. I can't believe I'm still paying for one of these subscriptions. I'll call him. Whoa. With Rocket Money, answer it for you. Really? Yeah. All you have to do is have a few buttons and Rock will make it there for you. Download Rock Online today.
What does the future of strength look like? It's a personal trainer that assesses your strength and has weight as you progress. It's dynamic weight that adjusts for you in real time for a more efficient workout. And it's a roster of coaches that motivates you to get stronger, faster. The future is strength you can feel and results you can see. And you can only experience it on Total.
Saturday. Elias Pettersson has been a goal-scoring monster for the Canucks. He shoots to score. See if he can keep up the pace versus William Nylander and the Maple Leafs. Hockey Weekend begins Saturday, 7 Eastern on NHL Network. The New Takes an early grapefruit league meeting with the Detroit Titans. Numbers to be in store on 1 Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now.
So it's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Boston Bruins. How about this? Most goals per game this season. First are the Edmonton Oilers with 383. Third are the Boston Bruins with 365. As this gets pinned around the net, and this could be picked up by the Bruins, but a nice little touch pass may have the Oilers in full flight as they try to find Draisaitl in the middle of the circles, but the pass went a little too far and not collected near the right side red line, as this will be held by Clint Costin. Costin being held off by Lindholm as Cody Ceci tried to get a piece of it. We'll just do the same thing, put this around the end boards again, but Boston's all over this puck right now. 15 shots to 9, and we finally get our first penalty of the game. The Oilers go into the power play, and we'll see who this is going to be on here against the Bruins. I will pull that up on the ESPN side of the box score as you're getting a look at the commercial half and half, but this is indeed right now, until I get the number and name, a power play for the Oilers upcoming. So picked up near the right side boards, it was Hampus Lindholm. He's getting a little bit of a hold near the left ear of Tyson Barrie and Clint Costin. And he's going to be going to the box, so Hampus Lindholm. He's going to go to the box. Draisaitl going to be on the centerman part of it, as Draisaitl going to take it. McDavid going to play on the off wing. This gets picked up here by the Oilers as Barrie will hold. His pass will go back to Barrie from McDavid. It's RNH. Extra pass here for Draisaitl. And now Barrie. Barrie here for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, trying to center it out in front for Leon Draisaitl. As the Oilers still carry this thing, it's Connor McDavid. RNH extra pass went off the backside of one of the Bruins and sent back down the ice with 12:10 left to go in the second. Drop pass here for the Oilers. We'll go back to Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid racing now down the left wing. RNH will try to give and go, as this will go back here for Tyson Barrie. And now it's a Draisaitl. Draisaitl with a pivot near the right side dot will go for Connor McDavid to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. It's Tyson Barrie with a shot into the traffic as Draisaitl try to find a piece of it. And now he will get to it. Draisaitl. Now back to Barrie. It's McDavid near the left circle. Extra toe drag. He's patient into the circle. Draisaitl! Oh, it's off the bar. It's McDavid with the sauce to Barrie. As Draisaitl will try to get this back to Connor. Now it's Tyson Barrie off the skate, keeping it alive off the backhand to Leon. And now to McDavid near the left circle. He sends it back to Draisaitl. Instead of shooting it, he tried to touch it to RNH, and it's flipped down the ice. That was a bad decision there, as this gets picked up by Stuart Skinner. This will go back for Tyson Barrie. It was a good-looking power play up until that last little piece of it. And it looks like 19 out of 20 here for Boston on their penalty kill in the previous, if they can kill this last 15. Now Fogle off the backhand. They'll try to stride deke his way in as McLeod will chip this. But this will be almost cleared by Boston, but this can't get out of the offensive end. This is near the right side dot now, down to 5 seconds to go in the first play of the game. This is held in just at the last second. Power play expires, but Edmonton's still with the puck, as this stays now with Darnell Nurse. And behind the office, they try to give and go for Darnell to get a slap shot off. And this is Boston as they've survived the first penalty kill of the game. 10:25 left to go in this second. About a 50-foot pass. This will go now for Clint Costin will fire it right on. Swayman doesn't know where it was, but this goes down to the right side of the red line here for Boston, and they'll try to go left to right after killing this penalty. It's 15 shots to 10 now, as Boston has the advantage with a 2-1 lead. They hold the offensive zone off the turnover. Pasta will try to get a piece of this away from Brett Kulak, and now the Oilers will collect. They'll flip this across as Costin will try to get to it. A couple of stick lifts, and he might be busted for a high stick. Yes, he is. So now the Bruins will go to their first power play of the contest. So both of these penalties, both called in the second, 9:55 left to go. See what the Bruins can do with the man advantage.
He's only 6 months old. I guess hockey's not really his thing.
Coast to Coast Hockey News says, I just subscribed. Thank you very much, my friend. How are you doing? Fallen says, I'm curious, what team do you support? I see the Lions helmet, but I wasn't sure if you're a Red Wings fan or not. Yeah, you saw that on that side of him where the camera's positioned. I am 100% a Red Wings fan, although I try not to show everything through and through. When we do cover all the games, I try to be as unilateral as possible, no matter what teams they are. So, diehard Red Wings fan through and through, and I won't make no bones about it. I've been waiting for this team to make the postseason. I'm glad Steve Yzerman's here, trying to make some of these moves, because it was pretty dark ages when Ken Holland was here. He emptied the covers and then bolted to Edmonton. So I understand what he accomplished before the salary cap. When you have guys, when you draft the Fedorov and the Lidstrom, that's Jim Delano too. When you have Datsuk and Zetterberg, all these other pieces. After that salary cap era, when you start signing guys like Jonathan Erickson and some of these other pylons and being a little bit too close to the vest as far as buddy and not more business, you put yourself in a bad situation. So I don't like how the team was left after the 25-year playoff streak, where you kept just trying to supplement pieces to keep it going. And then, they sucked for a long time. And they're finally starting to do something now. But for the rest of the teams in Detroit, it's bad. I know what they're saying about the Lions here, but that's just 1 year. I mean, they never made a Super Bowl, and I'm only 35 years old. I've never seen them get more past the first round of the playoffs. So, yeah, there's not much to root for here. So I'm hoping for the Red Wings. The going to work Pistons was a long time ago, too. That was high school heydays in between freshman and junior year. So it's been rough as far as pro sports go. So this is going to be an offensive zone draw, and this will be collected by Stuart Skinner off of a Charlie McAvoy shot. And we'll do it more time with 1:55 left to go in the first. And as always, guys, if you want a little clearer audio or you want to interact with me, besides just leaving comments, you can join in on the play-by-play side if you want to at Twitter Spaces. That's John Reinott under the same name. So Patrice Bergeron against RNH, and we might have a little bit of an unfair draw with 9:49 left to go in the second. And we'll do it again. So Patrice and RNH, just like they've never done, even though they just did 10 seconds ago. Well, it's Tanner Janot again for the Lightning, as they just got acquired from the Preds with all those picks. What did you guys think about that? I promise we'll talk about some of that stuff in a second. I'll have a lot of my other stuff typed up here and a lot to work with. As this is picked up from Marchand and now Bergeron. And Pastrnak will try to wrap this around, as Boston's still trying to gain the entry here for Brad Marchand. And this will go for CC. And he takes it over here, so RNH able to get a piece of it as well. And he's going to take some time off this clock right now, which is good with the help of Janmark. And now they'll gain the entry. Here is Edmonton and shoot it just short of the left side of the red line as they're trying to get a shorthanded bid. And now 1:13 left to go in the power play, but this might go against the Boston Bruins, according to what they're saying on Sportsnet. I did not see this on my own end, but it looks like Patrice Bergeron's going to go to the box. So let's look at the replay now. It is a hook and hold against RNH. That was very quick, but it was right in front of the Zebras. So that abbreviated power play is going to be all for naught. We're going to go 4-on-4 for about $1.13, and then the Oilers will be back on the power play. 9:08 left to go in the second. They're only down a goal. It's 2-1. We thought that this was going to be an end-to-end type game, but I will say this. The way Boston can play, you want to make sure that they can still score a lot of goals too. But you don't want to put that in a situation where it's all Edmonton on one side. So I should just have some braided breath there, but still, I think there's going to be some more goals to be had. McLeod. Now for Evan Bouchard, it's 4-on-4 McLeod. Trying to make this pass, but it went to nobody except for David Krejci. So Krejci, this Kulak will try to knock this pass away, but this will stay with the Bees as Krejci will set this back up here. Pastrnak, and forecheck is pretty good right now for Edmonton as they're stopping Boston just trying to do anything right now. As Hampus Lindholm has to pick this up here from Krejci. Krejci, series of toe drags. Got him down to the right side dot. He'll just slowly put this around the kick plate as they will pull this all the way back, does Boston. With 35 seconds left to go. And we have another delayed penalty, and this one's going to be against Edmonton. So Boston would be very smart to just touch this puck, but they did not do so. They are going to let Edmonton take it now. He figured they would get some abbreviated time, try to kill as much as they can. And Yamamoto, did he really get a piece of Krejci? Yes, he did, up in the arm off of the third effort. The first wasn't much. It was much of an abrasive poke check near the right side of the red line just to try to keep it in front. But then you got to hook up in the midsection to Yamamoto. So he's going to go to the box. It's a 4-on-3 power play now for 29 seconds for Boston. So all the penalties have been in the second period. And let's count them. I'll pull this up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 aside. 8:24 left to go in this second. It's 4-on-3 man advantage for Boston. They have just one shot on their power play. 0 for 1. Stuart Skinner is looking in. David Krejci going to go ahead and take this draw here for the Bees. Once they get set to drop this puck, my goodness, they've been holding on to it forever. And this will get flipped. And around the net now, Darnell Nurse. It's been a little busy. David Pastrnak trying to wrap this around the inboards as this will go to Charlie McAvoy in the high slot. Now to Pasta. Pasta with a ripper, and Marchand a little bit too far away from it as it stung Darnell Nurse with that shot. Now it's Pasta again from McAvoy. McAvoy in the high slot. Here's Marchand in the same spot, setting up for a 1T that went off the outside of the cage. And now the 4-on-3 is over. It's a 4-on-4 for 40 seconds before it'll be a Boston power play. As this is flipped back down. This is 4-on-4 right now. Clint Costin, as he's out of the box, McDavid scores! The 4-on-4, Clint Costin bought enough time. And Connor McDavid went off your TV screens right into the net. He was out of the picture. And McDavid gets a break pretty much. 2-2 tie. So Connor McDavid, a pair of goals. And I do say this, it was, in my question, does Connor McDavid get at least 3 points against the Bruins? Well, he's got 2 goals. Fallon says, I'm not a fan of the Red Wings, but they've definitely had some drought via playoffs and that kind of things. Yes, they have. And sometimes I will say this, for teams that win a lot, like they did back then, although it's hard to win the Stanley Cup final. A lot of people don't like greatness. That's all people didn't like the Patriots with Tom Brady. They didn't like some of their teams. People that win all the time, you don't like. Or if you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan or some of the Pittsburgh Penguins fan, you're probably not going to like the Red Wings either. So I would understand that side of it. So Connor McDavid with a pair of goals ties it at 2 from Clint Costin. So this is a 2-2 game now and picked up by Tyson Barrie. We'll spin it all the way around. Connor McDavid, How about this? 50 goals on the season. When I seen that, I got a little tongue-tied. Here's McDavid now, as he almost blew a tire, but off a drop pass, it's Draisaitl short side blocker shot. Swayman doesn't know where it is, and I don't either, as this goes back to Brandon Carlo before they find it, this Boston. And now 25 seconds in the Boston power play. So they had abbreviated 4-on-3. It was 4-on-4, which Edmonton scored, and now a 5-on-4 for 20 more seconds, as this will just count more towards the power play drought for Boston, but it really isn't that. Just a lot of abbreviated time. 10 seconds to go in the Boston power play. It's a 2-2 game now, 17 shots to 13. Bergeron off the forehand here for Marchand, and try to get it out of Pastrnak as this goes to McAvoy. Collected now by Patrice. Patrice trying to center this out for Marchand, and this guy's blocked nicely. McAvoy, couple active sticks. It's a race for the puck now. Matthias Janmark Has it near the left side boards. Holding off the forehand. Trying to center it out in front for Kari Yamamoto. But that got blocked nicely there by Pasta, as he probably saved a goal there with 6 minutes left to go in the second. 17 shots to 13. Here's a chance. Kulak getting the entry from McLeod. This goes off the left pad of Swayman. 5:50 left to go in the second. It's a 2-2 game now. Kulak near the left side wall. McLeod in through the traffic as that was fought off. Trying to get picked up now by Warren Fogle. And now Trent Frederick. Full spin as the camera doesn't know where to go right now. McLeod trying to send this into the blue paint. And now the Bruins will try to matriculate this left to right. Have it now near the right side inboard. Stop off the pivot there is Greer. We'll get it off the backhand from Foligno. This was off the left pad of Stuart Skinner as Trent Frederick keeps us alive off the forehand. He gets knocked down, but the play's still alive. It's Hampus Lindholm in the high slot. Here for McAvoy, trying to feed that point and slap shot this off the rebound is a chance for Greer to collect. 17-point streak for McDavid, 8 goals and 10 assists. And what you notice about McDavid as well, he is firing more slappers of the net, which you love to see. Drop pass, high slot, Connor Clifton from DeBrusk, and that got blocked. As this gets picked up by Boston, they'll try to jab this one back to Brandon Carlo. It's turned over off the backhand. Swayman with the save with the right pad, and Jesse Pugliarvi got denied off the left stick off the second opportunity. And now the Oilers get knocked down. It's a 4-on-2 maybe developing. As this is a long pass here for DeBrusk. This gets brushed away. Clem Costin will send this around here for Jeremy Swayman. Picked up now near the right side wall. Flipped out of the air. This stays with the Bruins in their own end. As now Hampus Lindholm will have it. Patient off a couple of stick tracks. Gain the entry there. Does DeBrusk one-handed. As it knocked the stick out of the hand of one of the Edmonton defense. Connor McDavid, he is on the ice right now as the puck goes past the zebra. And Connor has it now. Negates the icing. He's got those wheels. Try to center it in front of Draisaitl. Boston has puck possession now here with Pastrnak. Try to play this off the backhand. And now chip this in. It's Pastrnak weaving his way in through a couple of Oilers as this is picked up now. Back for Pasta. In behind the net. Trying to keep this alive off the backhand and use that body as Pavel Zacha try to provide some support. And now Charlie McAvoy trying to brush this away from Draisaitl, but Draisaitl strong enough and uses that long reach as Hyman has it. He'll just spin this back around the end boards and Draisaitl fanned on the 1T. As Kulak risks it just wide of the left side post. 3:23 left to go in the second. It's a 2-2 game. We're going to go to commercial break one more time as they're signing Connor McDavid's 50th of the season. It's 2-2 time.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. After decades of waiting, new legislation has just been passed that finally offers justice to the countless Marines and their family members who experienced devastating health effects after being exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune. So if you or a loved one were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, toxic water may be to blame. Call right now to find out if you qualify. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-842-1430. 1-800-842-1430. You gotta play with confidence and speed.
There he is. It's over. Marchand.
You have to know when your opponent is thinking.
Cap kick is on fire.
You have to know how to take it back. Most of them all have to play like Pete.
What a great play. Come on, Turtles.
You don't know if you put it all together. As a fan, you can do the one different.
Well, yesterday, the children from Make-A-Wish Foundation traveled from Saskatchewan to spend some time at the Edmonton Oilers. After practice, they had a chance to get on the ice with Edmonton and spend some time with Zach Hyman.
So on all the rest of the stuff typed here in this second intermission, we'll definitely go through some stuff. And then tomorrow's assignment will be the LA Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. It'll be 7:30 NBA on TNT start. So a little bit earlier for me on the East Coast. Back into the play-by-play now. It's a 2-2 tie with 3:15 left to go in the second as Bergeron shot gets swallowed up by Stuart Skinner with 3:14 left to go in the second. So now it's 19 shots to 16. Pretty damn even game all the way across the board. Those abbreviated power plays for Boston, I won't make too much mention of them in the story because not really much time to do with 25, 15, 30 seconds at a time as it's flipped in between. I haven't really got anything acclimated, but Connor McDavid, it's been his show right now as it's 2-2 as he just continued to carry this team on his back. As this is put around the end boards now, Bergeron will put this back for Hampus Lindholm. And Lindholm now here for, this is the rest of the Bruins here for Marchand, is now it's Lindholm. Lindholm off the backhand here for Brandon Carlo. Try to find Lindholm, and this will be a chance for Marchand. One more time around the end boards before this goes all the way back in the own end. This will be Connor Clifton that will touch up as the rest of the forwards will get a change on both sides. And Bergeron will just put this near the empty side of the left side of the red line. This gets poked away by Darnell Nurse just to knock this away from Stuart Skinner before that could have been a goal. And picked up now by McLeod as he'll gain the entry. Darnell Nurse maybe just going back to the D side as this gets picked up by Foligno now. Foligno now near the left side of the blue line as a series of players will come together. This is Klim Kostin, McLeod, everyone else trying to pry it loose. This will get picked up by Hampus Lindholm. What a move as he gains the entry off a couple of stick lifts and toe drags here near the right side of the red line. And this will be acquiesced by the Oilers, bounced off the kick plate, and the Bruins can pick this up in their own end with $1.50 left to go. So this is a Sportsnet feed. This is on NHL Network only. So this is the ESPN Plus side where you normally want to watch it. You can't because NHL Network's carrying it. So I'm carrying the play-by-play for you here tonight. There'll be a couple TV feeds for me for the next couple days only. As this gets picked up now around the end boards. And we'll see if the Bruins can find it, but this will find Leon. And Draisaitl will be patient near the right side dot. Fourth straight game scoring 2 goals or more for Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl now near the right side wall. Draisaitl off the backhanded pass as he gets knocked away from Hyman. And Draisaitl now will collect off the backhand. We'll stop and start. Put this around the end boards again, as this will be Hyman. We'll try to find Connor McDavid, and Orlov will brush that aside as this will be picked up now by the fourth line, Garnet Hathaway for Jim Montgomery's squad. Cody Ceci gets bodied a little bit by Hathaway as this goes now near the right side of the red line. Picked up now by Tomas Nosek and tried to wrap it around, and they fired it high off the 1T. Connor McDavid, he's just wrapped around and being held. I'm surprised there's no call with the referees right in front, and that's what the fans are thinking right now as he was spun like a merry-go-round. David Krejci, he's just watching near the top of the dot, and this is picked up in the high slot. This will matriculate now. This is Pastrnak. This will be brushed aside with a stick, but not before it goes in off the third opportunity. Boston scores, and I'm going to have to take a look at it and see what that hit or who got a piece of it. Well, Pavel Zacha is the one that's celebrating right now. 3-2 with 29 seconds left to go in this second period. So Pasta had it near the right side of the faceoff dot. Zacha had it, but it was Stuart Skinner that tried to get a piece of it with a stick, but he didn't get enough of it. Zacha dove on the ice near the left side of the crease, and his dive pushed the puck up and over his left shoulder and into the net. So Pavel Zacha, with an extra effort, he never gave up. He dove on the ice and put it in. It's 3-2 Boston. And a critical goal at the end of the second period. One of the Oilers blows a tire and behind their own end, but this will go back into the neutral zone. 20 seconds left to go in this second. Boston have just scored courtesy of Pavel Zacha. It was Connor McDavid and Pavel Zacha with the goals. This will get flipped back. Jeremy Swayman will touch. Zacha, he's the latest goal scorer from Pastrnak and Forbert. And that's going to end the second period. Boston has the lead one more time, but this time it's 3-2. Come right back. We'll call third period action in a moment.
Welcome to the Intermission Report presented by Geico alongside Steve Conroy, and wow, no penalties in the first period whatsoever. This one gets a little bit chippy in the second.
Yeah, kind of ticky-tacky penalties. It's still been a physical game, but yeah, hooking around the hands, referees are calling that. And we saw 3 or 4 of us call it second period. But devastating goal against Edmonton late in that period. I mean, they fought back in the game. Connor McDavid ties it, and then with less than 30 seconds to go, they give up a goal, and Boston with the lead again.
Yeah, you heard what their record is.
Yes.
They
know how to close out games.
They know how to close out games. And one of the things that stood out to you was that Costin hit. Let's get to it. Was this a message of any sort?
It's just the way the game is being played. I mean, Clint Costin's a big boy, 6'3", 215 pounds. Hampus Lindholm's big, 6'4", 215 pounds, but he drives him right into the Edmonton Oilers bench. Good clean hit. I like the fact the Edmonton Oilers players, that's what gave him a boo. Yeah, they did. They held him up. He's Hampus Lindholm. They actually pushed him back on the ice. So yeah, good for those guys.
Yeah. This one was still 2-1 Boston until Connor McDavid does what we were expecting him to do. 50 goals in 61 games. In 9 career meetings against the Bruins, McDavid only had 2 goals in that span. He's got 2 goals tonight.
He's making up for it. Not sure. Charlie McAvoy was pointing like he wanted Swayman to come up and play. Like, watch him here. He can't come up. It's outside the trap. It's like Clint Costin does a great job of feeding him to the puck, the great feed, and yeah. How about this? In each of the last 4 games, Connor McDavid has scored 2 goals. There's McAvoy pointing. The goalie can't come out. Now you're behind the play. Now it's a 2-on-1. And that's excitement from Connor McDavid. You don't really see a lot of emotion out of him. That's pretty emotional for McDavid.
Yeah, and here Boston regains the lead thanks to Pavel.
Yeah, nice second effort from Zacha. I feel bad for Cody Ceci because this kind of goes off him. He's in the right place. He wants to block it, but it gets through him. And when it gets through him, it gets behind him. And guess who's behind him? Pavel Zacha. And Skinner gets a bit of it with his stick, but it helps wedge it up over his blocker. And that's a heartbreaker. Less than 30 seconds to go in the period. You've got some momentum. You give it back to the Boston Bruins. It'll be a quiet dressing room in Edmonton.
There have only been 20 instances when a player has scored multiple goals in 4 straight games. Last to do it was Patrice in the 2012-2013 season. So we are seeing something that hasn't been done in a decade, thanks to Connor.
You're telling me we're watching history.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of history. He's on pace for 67 goals this season. Did he get the done?
Connor McDavid's on pace for 67 goals.
Possible. He's going to hit 60. He's
got 50 right now.
23, 24.
He needs one more point to get to the yes on the question. I said, does Connor McDavid get 3 points in this game against the Bruins? That's lofty as far as what he's got to do. He's got 2 goals, but the Bruins have the 3-2 advantage after 2 periods of play.
That was Kucherov with 128, so he's going to blow by that by a long margin. He's not done yet. And yes, he is the best player in the NHL.
All right, I want to get to a coverage breakdown that you saw from Edmonton. Jake DeBrusk with a really nice chance. Was it a nice chance, or was it the Oilers slipping up a
little bit of the Oilers slipping up there. If we can stop this right here. You know, Jake DeBrusk has to look at all the guys. All 5 blue Edmonton Oilers players are watching the puck.
Every single one has their eyes on it.
Yeah, no, just let them go. One guy go to him. Yamamoto should go to him. Everyone else sort it out. Now let's run it. Let's run this play. Now 3 guys are kind of out of position on the far side. Now, keep it running. Stop here. Cody Ceci checked his shoulder. Now he's leaving the front of the net. You don't do that. Jake DeBrusk gets the puck. And so they play behind the net. But if Cody Ceci stays where he's supposed to be, there's no way Jake DeBrusk can walk out front. Watch what Jake DeBrusk does. Nobody can stop him. That's a great scoring opportunity. That's 1-on-1 with Skinner. He makes a real good stop off the side of the net. And from the ISO cam, DeBrusk, that's a real good look. So, yeah, you know, you hate to split hair, but when it's a close game like this, and it's against the Boston Bruins, who literally give you nothing in their own zone, you can't give them free looks like that.
You got to minimize those scoring opportunities. All right, when we come back, Steve, we are going to get to Stars and Canucks highlights. Stick with us. The second intermission.
This intermission report is presented by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you can save.
What does the future of strength look like? It's a personal trainer that assesses your strength and adds weight as you progress. It's dynamic weight that adjusts for you in real time for a more efficient workout. And it's a roster of coaches that motivates you to get stronger, faster. The future is strength you can feel and results you can see, and you can only experience it on Tonal.
HelloFresh has everything from family-friendly meals to fit and wholesome, quick and easy options like this 25-minute black bean and pepper quesadilla. Once all said and done, HelloFresh always is not bad for me and my family's busy schedule.
Go to HelloFresh.com/TV50 for 60% off and free shipping.
Furnace breakdown? Oh no! That could be a $3,300 bill you weren't expecting. Bridge on the fritz? That could cost you $2,500. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when the covered item breaks, call or click. That's it. And we'll repair or replace it for you. We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $30 a month. Why let a major system or appliance breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of trying to find trustworthy service people? It's well worth the cost.
Can't even count how much money it probably has saved us.
Last year alone, we saved our customers over $219 million in repair and replacement costs. Don't wait until it's too late and you're stuck with a huge repair bill.
Call 1-800-574-3914. That's 1-800-574-3914 for a free no-obligation quote. That's 1-800-574-3914.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Attorney Trey Days. Attention all business owners. Did you own a business with 4 or more full-time W-2 employees between October 2020 and September 2021? If so, you may be entitled up to $26,000 per employee as part of the CARES Act, which provides financial compensation to business owners in the form of a check you can deposit as a reward for retaining your employees during the pandemic. Let us help you find out if you're entitled to free government money. If your business was impacted by the pandemic between October 2020 and September 2021, and you had at least 4 full-time W-2 employees, don't miss out on your opportunity for compensation. There's no cost to apply, and you owe us nothing unless we recover for you. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 1-800-583-7484. 1-800-583-7484.
Remember the old school cheat codes? Ridiculous moves that no one could pull off in real life. Until now. Now there is that guy with the unfair speed. The guy who scores just about every time, not one spot. And the guy who's basically a real life crook. So were those games really that ridiculous? Or maybe they were just ahead of their time.
Welcome back to the Intermission Report presented by Geico. Let's get you updated from around the National. The Nuts and Stars in Dallas are getting it on a requirement of trade yesterday. Got into Dallas very late last night after 10 p.m. Jimmy Ben picks him up this morning, and look at what he's already doing.
That's pretty good. Maybe in about 7 hours sleep and playing for the team. It's a nice little.
Let's start off on a high note, right? On the right foot.
Well, exactly. Pavelski gets stymied there.
How tough is that, though, when you're coming in from the trade and then you immediately start?
Well, there's the goal. Well, you know what? If you're playing on motion, you're probably playing on fumes because you did fly in, you got in later. As you mentioned, Jamie, that picks him up. But that's pretty good hand stuff. You know, alone gets them to within a goal, but then it's the Vancouver Canucks. And how about that play by Quinn Hughes? The little spinorama, and he draws a little bit of a crowd, gives it to Getsu, the former New York Islander, Anthony Beauvillier. But there's the spinorama, the backhand pass. It gets deflected to Beauvillier. He's got a good release. We saw that in his first goal. We see it on this goal. Restores the 2-goal lead. That makes it 4-2 for Vancouver in Dallas. And there again, Marchand got a piece of it, not enough, and Beauvillier goes upstairs.
Beauvillier is second in the game, 15th of the season that made it 4-2.
Oh, that's a Rupe Hintz goal, and that is just a classic give and go. He gets it, he dishes it off to the wing, he goes hard to the net, gets it back, and then finishes it off perfectly to close them within a goal again. But this is just attacking his feet, and Dallas does this very well. He gets it in the middle, he gives it, he presents his stick. Watch how he dishes it on the backhand, and then he presents his stick on the backhand, gets it back. Nice little give and go. And Rupe Hintz has been good all year long. That's Jamie Bennett who gives it to him. Goes 5-hole on the net minder and gets it to the window.
Jamie Bennett, apparently the ultimate Uber driver. Give him 5 stars on the rating, and that's right now. 4-3 though in the second period. Charle between the Knights and Avalanche. 14 seconds in. It is Nico Rantanen getting on the board.
This is the way you want to start a game. Get pucks deep, get it back, and score a goal. And that's a unforced error by Aiden Hill. Tries to clear it. Now, goaltenders, when you raise the puck, you're not expecting a guy to punt it out of midair. And Nico Rantanen, even though he grew up in Europe, maybe played old baseball over there because he did a great job of knocking this out of midair. And 14 seconds in, you get the crowd into it, French into it, and that's just a great start. But watch Aiden Hill, what's he's looking at? Well, figures he's going to put it off the glass, high, off the boards. This is maybe 3 feet, 2.5 feet off the air, off the ice, and Rantanen not only bumps it down, but quickly puts it in the net. Good eye-hand coordination from Moose.
It's a 5-game goal streak as well for Rantanen. Avalanche up 1-0 right now in the second period. Now we're going to head to Detroit and Ottawa and Tim Stutzla. This one was a high-scoring affair. How about make it 6-2?
Brady Kachuk really makes his goal, and I believe Brady scored earlier in this hockey game. But watch the pressure 7 puts. That's a 1-on-2. He pokes it by the defenseman, then he pressures the defenseman. That's Roenick. He kind of mishandles the puck. He goes right to Tim Stutzla. And Stutzla has been a find for these Ottawa Senators. Perfectly placed shot. And that's a emphatic win. If Ottawa has any hopes, maybe it's with playoffs, they got to lead from Detroit to play against tomorrow night. And they're within 5 points now, that final wild card spot.
Final from this one, 6-2, and we were expecting a high score affair. And our game tonight, will we see it?
It's 20 minutes.
We've still got 20 minutes. We can tally up a couple more goals. All right, we'll preview the third period when we come back.
This intermission report is presented by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you can save.
So how can Helen think? He's only 6 months old. You should probably start saving for college.
All right, team, we got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. Ford Infant makes it easy to get the local
All right.
the latest in apparel, drinkware, beds, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at FordInfant.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
Ford Infant, for certain. Is your credit score getting in the way of the things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit offer fast and flexible lending. Borrow up to $10,000 and choose repayment terms that work for you. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
I love puppies.
Well, I love that I switched to Verizon. My other network used to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I would welcome Unlimited for just $25. I love that I got an awesome network and save money doing it.
$25. But what I love is that it's guaranteed for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, what I love is I got to keep my phone more saving.
What I love.
Hey, we're sitting outside here.
Switch and get welcome Unlimited for just $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. The savings that last on the network you want. Verizon.
If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in corporate trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court. For your free legal consultation, call 800-543-0258. That's 800-543-0258. I'm not attorney spokesperson.
Let me be direct. Why would you pay more than double for teeth straightening with Invisalign? With Smile Direct Club, you get a doctor-directed smile you love for 60% less. That's a lot less. Like a choose Smile, choose Direct.
Smile Direct Club. 92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later. Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack. You guys don't think you're right. Okay, but it's still just bad.
All right, all done. Let's see now how much time is left.
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So can you. Start a 30-day home trial today. Terms apply.
This is the future of foundational nutrition. 81 lets you drink your vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and so much more. One scoop, once a day. Learn more at athleticgreens.com.
Get ready for the upcoming games.
All right, so we just got everything. I'm glad to get all my stuff done before both the periods. Really only had time I could do it because I only stay up forever to get all the other stuff done so we can get to the game story and everything else right away once this game is all done. So it's been a busy week for me. I'm glad that you guys could join. I know we've had a few that have popped in and out probably because I've been typing, but I appreciate it anyway. There's been a lot of stuff going on today. They asked Connor McDavid about how he just felt about scoring his 50th. He goes, it's great, I guess, but it's just a number. So, I mean, that kind of tells you what McDavid honestly really wants to do, doesn't it? You want to win that Stanley Cup. For as good as Draisaitl and McDavid are, they have yet to do so in their career. And who knows if this continues, let's say for another couple of years, Connor McDavid, I don't think anybody's going to blame him if he goes to another team with hopes to try to win one. I wouldn't blame him. He's the greatest player. He's the greatest player in the NHL right now. There's nothing else you could say.
It's because of what the score is. Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of guy he is. If they were leading, he'd be a little more congenial, I guess. But right now, it's just straight answers, and it's never about him.
And he's trying to get down to business. What do the Oilers need to do in order to win this third period?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to get another power play opportunity. They had two. One was agreed. They had no shots in their
So about 30 seconds left to go before the third period starts.
If they get an opportunity, passing's great.
It's a 3-2 lead for the Boston Bruins.
And listen, they're right in the field. They've limited Boston to 19 shots.
It was Pavel, Zacha, and Connor McDavid with the goals in the second period. Connor McDavid's got 2. He's got 50 now. So he's got a 50% shooting percentage in this game, 2 goals on 4 shots.
Well, they've got the 3-2 lead right now. We are going to send you back out for the rest of the third period. Enjoy the game, everybody. Steve and I will be back to wrap it all up on the Fly.
50 and 61. Matthews on his way to 60 last year had 50 and 62.
So this is a chance for Connor McDavid. He's got 50 goals in the season. It took him 61 games to get that, which is absolutely incredible. And it's a 3-2 scoreline as the puck is going to get set to be dropped here. We're going to try this for the third time at center ice. This is a 3-2 lead for the Bruins. And we'll see if they can take this home just like they've always done when they've had the lead. Can the Oilers kind of upset that? In my YouTube question, I said, does Connor McDavid get 3 points tonight against the Boston Bruins? I actually didn't know if that was going to materialize. Right now he's got 2 goals. And now this is turned over right in the middle of the slot. Yamamoto fans on it. Could have been a wide open opportunity to tie the game right at the beginning of the period. And now another one goes short side off Jeremy Swayman as Yamamoto had another chance at it. Now off the backhand. Driving the net, trying to pass this one across is Connor McDavid. He puts this out in between the circles in the high slot, and that one goes just wide. Connor's going to collect now near the right side wall. We'll drop it back for Cody Ceci. Darnell Nurse, he's patient as this gets deflected up and out of play. 19-13 left to go in the third. John, out here with you. We're at Rogers Place in between the Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers. It's their first meeting of the regular season, so if this game stays the way it is, I think I'm going to have to cover their second meeting because this game has been absolutely phenomenal. Pair of goals from Connor McDavid pretty much both times. He got around the defense and scored. Couldn't be any easier for him. Swayman, you felt like he was just getting his jock strap and everything else taken off. He had no chance to stop any one of those. And Nick Foligno and DeBrusk and Zacha, they combined for some good plays as well. As this is picked up through the neutral zone. Tomas Nosek and Klim Kostin try to get a piece of the puck. As this goes back now into the defensive end, it's Warren Fogle that pries it loose. And now the Oilers will try to gain the offensive zone as this goes away from Matthias Janmark. Collected now by Connor Clifton. Have to elude a couple of check, but this will stay in near the right side of the dot, and this will be passed and off the embankment. Picked up now by Barrie only momentarily as Fogle gets knocked off the puck. And now this stays in. Derek Forbert can't clear. Another shot goes off the blocker of Swayman. Picked up near the left side of the red line. And Edmonton still with it, but Connor Clifton with a great stick lift. This is going to fall to Swayman, and he might as well take no ideas. As players are just getting all tangled up together there with the stick, a little bit of face washing. Don't think much is going to come from this, but AJ Greer's getting a piece now of one of the Edmonton Oilers, but it's so conceded there as far as all the other players and everything else is congealed. They can't get a number on it for the other side for the Edmonton Oilers. 18:29 left to go in this third. As right after the shot was blocked aside by Swayman, we had a little bit of meeting near the right dot. But that's all it was. Although there was some face washing and a couple of just punches right across. Just a little how you doing after Swayman made the blocker save. So we'll see how this continues to start. It was a good start in the first 90 seconds of this third period, but they still need another goal, does the Edmonton Oilers. Boston's looking for their third 7-game win streak of the season, 31-0-2 when leading after 2 periods of play. David Krejci going to get set to take the defensive zone draw here for the Bees, but man, we just have had so many face-off infractions. You can get away with one, you can do a second one, it's going to be an automatic penalty. As Krejci got busted out of the dot. 2 wins in the last 7 games here for Edmonton, but they keep on getting points in OT, but they want to start getting that extra second one. But they are having a third spot in the Pacific Division right now as Draisaitl tries to hold this now near the left side dot. Draisaitl can't find it. Derek Forbert had it knocked away, but this finds David Pastrnak. Try to get picked up here by Krejci. As the Oilers will try to get this out of their own end, but Krejci will get this down here from Marchand as he plays it off his skates. This goes off the left pad of Stuart Skinner. And now a race for the puck, but only in semi-flight is Connor McDavid as he's trying to settle things down. This is spun around from Evan Bouchard and picked up now by Pasta near the right dot as he tries to get to the neutral zone. A give and go pass here for Zacha. Try to give it back to Zacha. Played out of the air, but Evan Bouchard got in the way. But Pastrnak, good job with the reach as Bouchard has this one go all the way back. So this will be an opportunity for the forwards to take a change, as this will stay with the Oilers and behind the office for Stuart Skinner. Everybody's changed except for the one defenseman that has the puck right now, as this is wired all the way down, and this will be iced. 17:25 left to go in the third. It's 20 shots to 18 in favor of the Bees. They have a 3-2 lead over the Oilers at Rogers Place right now. John here with on the call. We're watching the Sportsnet feed, but you can't get this game on ESPN Plus tonight because it's only on NHL Network. And that's how it's going to be for me for the next couple nights, because tomorrow, the next game for basketball between Memphis and Lakers will be on NBA and TNT. Face-off win by Boston, but they can't hold the zone. And this will go back to Swayman. He's going to play it near the left side dot. And we'll see if the Oilers can actually make something happen with it. But it's Brad Marchand. It's 1-on-3. He's just going to fire the wrist shot. And this goes up and on a plate. 17-11. I'll have to go in the third. So now it's 20 shots to 18. But a good contest so far. Let me give you a little bit of a scoring reset as we'll have time to do that. So Connor McDavid opened the scoring with a 100-foot pass from Leon Draisaitl. Again, that's no exaggeration, as he scored 2:17. Tomas Nosek 13 seconds later, 2:30 from Garnet Hathaway off of a beautiful backhanded no-look pass with Elvin Dimitrov as well. Nosek got his fourth. 15:06, it was Nick Foligno off the breakaway pass there from Charle Coyle. And then Connor McDavid, he got in behind the defense up the 4-on-4 as Klim Kostin bought some time. At 12:20, And then Pavel Zacha with the latest at 19:30 of the second frame from Pastrnak and Forbert off of a reach in the second effort. As this goes now, live into the play-by-play, as the Oilers will try to go left to right in this third period. They are in the mix of the orange and white striping with the blue pants and the orange shoulder pads, and the Boston Bruins have the black pants and the white shirts for the original six squad, trying to go right to left. This is picked up now by Tyson Barrie, but he turns it over. This will go D to D, and this will be picked up now by McAvoy, but he's going to take a couple of jabs at it with the stick, try to just get a piece of it. Pavel Zacha trying to find it, but there's a Boston Bruins fan with a sign in the way that got in the way of the puck. As this gets flipped up now near the left side of the faceoff down in the D end for McAvoy. Now McAvoy now for Dmitry Orlov, who's been really good in this contest. Already got a pair of points for the Washington Capitals. Just got picked from the deadline. Marchand will try to toe drag Swag, pick it up off the backhand, and that goes just wide of Stuart Skinner. And now the Oilers, Darnell Nurse will flip it all the way down, but this will be not iced, I guess. I thought that was going to be, but that must have been last touch by one of the Bruins. 15:50 left to go in the third. Chip chase here for McAvoy as he'll stick it ahead for Marchand expertly, and then wrapped around the inboards again. This is held in at the last moment by Carlo. And now to the right side dot, it's Jake DeBrusk, but his pass gets canceled off, trying to get picked up now by Fogle. It's Brad Marchand against Cody Ceci. Marchand gets taken down, and this will go now here for Tyson Barrie and Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse is patient. Forwards will take a change here for the Oilers. 15:20 left to go in this third. John here with you on the call. Sportsnet feed on NHL Network only tonight. 15:15 left in the third, and now this will be iced. 20 shots to 18. Boston has a 3-2 advantage. They're showing in the morning is DeBrusk, father and son on that side. You have them on the Sportsnet feed as they get a chance to talk to each other and meet in Edmonton and have a good time. Always love that. And it's good to see Jake DeBrusk enjoying himself on the first line of the Boston Bruins nowadays as you get a side-by-side. Now the camera's back and working. Jake DeBrusk, look at him on the players' bench right now as the Boston Bruins enjoying a 3-2 lead against the Edmonton Oilers. Thought maybe this would be a high-scoring game, maybe closer to the 6-5 game of the Seattle Kraken and the Boston Bruins, which took that one. But this one has been very good nonetheless. 3-2 lead for Boston. DeBrusk on a 6-game point streak, 5 goals and 3 assists. It does help when you play with Patrice, Bergeron, and Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak at times, but he's a really good player nonetheless. So David Krejci going to take this offensive zone draw coming here for the Bees. He tries to win this just toward the right in the middle of the circles, but this is still busy. Trying to be contested now near the right side dot. This stays along the end boards here with the Bees, and the Oilers going to be quick about it as Pavel Zacha tried to jump to keep it in, but Pastrnak will play this in the defensive end. He'll look for a stretch pass, and this instead will just be flipped in toward the right corner near the right side of the red line. The Oilers are having a tough time trying to get this out of their own end right now. Tyson Barrie, he takes about an 80-foot pass, but this bounces off of Foligno and played with the offside. 14:44 as they try to find RNH there. Still 20 shots to 18. So once this game is done, I will have the complete game story, as always, at hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. Everything you see on the YouTube side, as I'm showing the recorder here, that's all you're going to get. Anything on the Twitter Spaces side or any kind of coverage or typing or anything else that I had to do on this busy day, that will not be heard, as this is just going to be the play-by-play. Tomas Nosek against Derek Ryan. Set to take the draw. Nosek gets knocked down, and now Derek Ryan able to get away with this with Jesse Puljujärvi trying to make a 3-on-3 opportunity. This might actually fall to Derek Ryan. He's going to have to try to outrace Connor Clifton as this goes back in behind the net as Jesse Puljujärvi. You thought maybe he would get moved at the deadline, but the deadline is still Friday. He's noted that he's wanted out of Edmonton. Again, he's a former third pick in the NHL draft, but again, not everybody can be Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Taylor Hall. You feel bad, but I'd like to see him get a fresh start because he's still about 25 years of age as we get another offsides. With 14:17 left to go in the third. No shots over the last about 3.5 minutes. As we're taking a look at some replays here, Connor Clifton got absolutely lit up, and then Hampus Lindholm got checked into the Oilers bench by Klim Kostin. But they gave him a nice friendly shove and got him back on the ice. As Klim Kostin certainly, when we talk about him on the CBC side, They love the way that this guy plays. He's got an assist and 3 hits tonight. He kind of does a little bit of everything. So RNH overskates the puck, and now an icing on the other end. 14:08 left to go in this third. It's going to be an offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Oilers. So let's just take a look at this while I have some opportunity to go ahead and talk to you. We've had icings and sloppy play over the last, I would say, 3.5 minutes or so. So again, a 6-game win streak currently for the Boston Bruins. They're outscoring opponents 26-11 in that span, but only heightened from a 6-5 win over the Kraken. Otherwise, it'd be a lot less goals against. It is David Pastrnak, 42 goals on the season with 37 assists and 79 points. And on the other end, Connor McDavid already has 115 points from 113 today. He's got 50 goals and 65 assists and 115 points on the year, as he's +9. Frederick has it knocked away from him, and this will go back to the Oilers safely in their own end, as we'll try to race this in full flight. It's Connor McDavid in from his own end, now near the right dot, drop it in between the circles, and McDavid are going to have to spin and try to find this now, as Boston will try to get this out right to left. This will get flipped, bounced off of the glove hand of Leon Draisaitl, and now the Edmonton Oilers will try to get across the neutral zone right now. Kaori Yamamoto picked it up near the right side wall, going to try to leave this here for McDavid, but a little bit too hard on the pass as Bergeron tries to find Brad Marchand. Now Marchand will try to pick this up near the left side of the red line, and this will go all the way back here for Connor Clifton and Carlo. Clifton's pass off the backhand. It was Tomas Nosek. He scored a goal tonight. And now this will touch Cody Ceci. Ceci make the outstretched pass, and no look there for Janmark as they're able to enter the zone near the right boards. Cody McLeod gets worked off the puck right now, but this is a battle near the right side of the red line. This finds the Bruins. And a good stretch pass. This could be a race for the puck. This is going to be picked up by Pasta as he's got to get around a reverse hit from Darnell Nurse. Nurse cancels him off nicely. And now Janmark try to stick lift his way through, picks it up now. Short side shot. Where is it? It's Jeremy Swayman. And amongst the redwood trees, he finds it. And between Krejci, Forbert, and McLeod, and he gets the coverage. It was awfully close after a good entry by Janmark. But we'll take a break. 12:32 in the third. 3-2. Boston's got the lead.
Never be afraid of your strength.
What's going on, Owen? How are you doing, my friend? I'm bouncing around on Twitter Spaces. I have a few of you bouncing it out. It's been a good contest so far. I appreciate all the comments and questions and everything else from Fallon, Coast to Coast, NHL Hockey News, everyone else, Draco, it's Avery, everyone else that's talked about it. It's been pretty busy. I wanted to throw this out there too with the votes, and they actually got a few votes tonight. I said, does Connor McDavid out of 11 votes get at least 3 points against the Bruins? 73% of you say yes, 27% of you say no. Right now, it's right on the edge. Connor McDavid with a pair of goals, but Boston Bruins have a 3-2 lead. He's got his 50th of the year. So just one more point for Connor. We'll get it done. There was not a lot of games to speak of in the NHL today, so we wanted to take the best assignment that we could get. So let me go ahead and go to the full scoreboard. So the one final that we had was the Sens were all over the Red Wings. It's going to suck on my end of this because the Red Wings go down. And again, they got to play the Senators tomorrow. They got to bounce back with LAU, so they got rocked. Lost 6-2. All these other games are still underway. Our game is a 3-2 for the Bruins and the Oilers with 12:32 in the third. The Canucks have a 4-3 edge in the third over the Dallas Stars. The Avalanche all over the Golden Knights right now after 2 periods, 2-0. And the Blackhawks and Ducks are tied at 1. And I believe the Chicago Blackhawks are actually trying to win their 6th game in a row. So the Connor Bedard sweepstakes got to be very careful at that, as it's 1-1 after pretty much after 1. So when I mentioned that the Boston Bruins being one of the hottest teams trying to get 3 straight of 7 in a row, the Chicago Blackhawks get 6, you could argue it's the second hottest team in the league, and you're wondering why. So this is picked up now near the right side wall as Jake DeBrusk will poke check it down. Try to get centered out, but Patrice Bergeron has to get around a couple sticks, and he falls down before he can backhand it on net. DeBrusk takes a seat, as RNH will get a piece of it in his own end. But this will find the Boston Bruins and picked up now by DeBrusk off with a kick, try to get to the neutral zone again, and this is another offsides. 12:04 left to go in this third. For the up and down, north and south, east and west action that we've had between the first and second period of Boston and Edmonton, we've had none of that right now in the third. This has been a malaise with a just multitude of offsides. I've counted 6 so far with 12:04 in the third and a hand pass. So it's been a little bit of everything right now. 1,026 points and 127 playoff points for Patrice Bergeron as the faceoff is won by David Krejci. That was courtesy of Sportsnet with that stat. Played off the right side of the wall, trying to get picked up now by Pastrnak. And this will go back to Clem Costin as he'll flip it. Stolen by Boston. This could be a 2-on-1, but it fell right back to the Oilers. Pastrnak wanted an opportunity to make a play. Instead, he's going to get the steal to the neutral zone. He's going to get him between the circles now. Drag and shot. This one gets blocked by the Oilers. And now we'll see if they can race the other way. It's McLeod. And another offsides against the Oilers. The 9th offside of the third period. And we are 11:32 left to go in this third. My goodness. So Pastrnak was in between the circles, but it was a great shot block. Inadvertent or not, went off the back skate of Vincent Desharnais. There was not a lot of padding there, but he made the right play. Even if he didn't mean to do so, it went off the back of his right leg. And on that smile, he's missing one of his chiclets, but that one certainly hurt as this gets picked up now between the neutral zone. 14 block shots to 12 in favor of Edmonton, but they're down on the scoreboard 3-2 as they're at Rogers Place right now. Fans, pretty much there's not going to be an empty seat in the house when it's the Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers. And anyone who has a ticket, I'm jealous. I always like to say that. Cody Ceci will fire it wide near the left side of the red line as this can't be cleared by Boston. A nice pivot there. Hyman able to hold it in as you have to drive all the way down to the right side of the red line. Just 5 shots to 1 in this period, but it's in favor of Edmonton. This has been a choppy third period after the go that was in the first 60, or first 40, I should say. Let's do math. So Lindholm and DeBrusk. DeBrusk now. Try to toe drag. It actually leaves it here for Lindholm off the short side shot. DeBrusk will pick it back up. This gets picked up off the backhand by one of the defensive there, Brandon Carlo. And now 10:30 left to go in this third is Charlie Coyle. We'll put this near the left side of the red line, keeping him alive off the backhand. Nosek trying to power his way to the net. And this gets solved by Draisaitl, but it's not out. And this will get knocked away from Greer. Try to be played by the Oilers from their knees. And they want a penalty, does the Rogers Place crowd, but they're not going to get one as Foligno gains the entry off of the wrist shot cleared. This goes around the end boards now. Up and out of the air, across the red line now, flipped ahead. And Dmitry Orlov trying to do some work against Jesse Puljujärvi as he canceled that body the whole way through. Now Charlie Coyle will try to get a piece of it, but he couldn't get around Evan Bouchard. And we've had 9:45 left to go in this third, gaining the right side wall. There's a chance for Edmonton with Puljujärvi, as this will go back for Barrie. He's going to let the clapper go, but this goes just out of the outside of the post at about 88 miles an hour. And now this goes to Derek Forbert, spinning it around the inboards one more time. This goes all the way back to the neutral zone. It's a race for the puck. This will be one as they get a chance to beat Boston 2. It does Edmonton. And now it's Connor McDavid near the right circle as he's patient. Waits off the sauce pass, try to set it up for Zach Hyman. And he got it knocked away from him off a couple of curl and drags. This is matriculated off the end boards, and this will be iced against Edmonton, so they cannot change with 9:08 left to go in this third. Shots are now even at 21 apiece, but the score line is still 3-2, and it certainly looked like Darnell Nurse got hooked, and there was no call, and he actually got hit in the hands as well. Probably should have been called against Trent Frederick, but play on, they say. As all the penalties, I think there was 4 aside, 2 apiece, all in the second. As this is a defensive zone draw win by the Edmonton Oilers. But Boston will pick it back up in their own end, and they'll try to go right to left. They'll gain the red line and dump this in off the wrist shot. Stuart Skinner will play this with the goal stick, see if this bounces off the Bruins, but Here come the Oilers now. Collar Yamamoto will drop this here for McLeod. This will be bounced off near the left side of the red line, off the clear, off the inboards. And some bodies. Desharnais is stuck there near the left side dot. They got to call something near the dog pile. 8:37 left to go in the third. We're going to take a face-off outside the offensive zone. Commercial break. Come right back. 8:37.
You are so generous with your personal data.
Switch on privacy. Switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
You pop them in, you go to bed, and they do all the work. Straighten your teeth while you sleep with Smile Direct Plus Nighttime Aligners.
They don't interfere with your daily lifestyle at all.
Choose easy. Choose Smile. Get started for free at SmileDirectPlus.com.
Need to get your windshield fixed? SafeLight makes it easy. You can schedule it in just a few clicks, and we'll come to you with a replacement you can trust. Great. That service on your time. Schedule now.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Whoosh, a powered massaging cleaner for your ears.
This feels awesome.
Feeling massage in my ear.
Whoosh's Jello Triple Spray flushes earwax away. Cotton swabs just push the wax in. But Whoosh's Triple Spray gently flushes it out.
By using the Whoosh product, we're achieving a safe and satisfying way of cleaning the wax out of the ear canal.
My ear feels so clean.
Log on at getwhoosh.com to get 15% off the brand new Whoosh and free shipping every night. While Patrice victory, take the dollar count. On the fly pitches every video of every game. Get all the highlights and preview tomorrow all in one show. On the fly. After the games on the NHL Network.
Not the talent on the ice for both of these teams, but head-to-head, two guys that love to shoot the puck from the same spot. A mirror image of one another. Draisaitl on the right side, left-handed shot, and David Pastrnak, a right-handed shot on the left. They're always hanging out in that position. Tonight again, here's the one chance by Draisaitl. Just missing wide Pastrnak. But you know what? I'm going to try from there against you. You always have to be aware they're going to block the goal spot, and they know exactly when to get there at the right time.
So a neutral zone face-off upcoming here. It's still a 3-2 lead for the Boston Bruins. Just 5 shots to 1 in this period. Oilers have the 5. They're still down 3-2. It's 21-21 on the shot board with 8:25 left to go in this third. Connor McDavid with a serious pair of goals. The one was a 100-foot pass from the first period from Draisaitl, and then off of 4-on-4 play from Klim Kostin. Pretty much had Draisaitl come right out of the TV set and score 1-1 off the backhand against Swayman. So now down low, as this gets wrapped around, Tyson Barrie will try to collect this. He's pinched all the way in up high as we have 8 minutes left to go in this third. The Oilers need a goal. Try to get picked up in behind the red line. This will be Connor McDavid in between the circles. Now off his forehand, working his way to the left eye, shoots it off the outside of the cage, and that is saved and held by Swayman. With 7:54 left to go in the third, we get a little pushing and shoving here. I don't think much is going to come of it, though, as Edmonton now is up 24-21 on the shot board, but down on the scoreboard 3-2. So John out here with you on the play-by-play. Again, tomorrow my assignment is going to be the LA Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. I've been watching the Knights Avs game. It's been pretty uneventful. Rantanen got 40 goals on the season, though. Yeah, that's a pretty good game on that side to watch as well. I thought about covering that one, but you say it's been a little uneventful. I know Vegas, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, but again, between Laurent Brossoit, I think they have the backup goal to be able to hold that, but Colorado has been pretty good on that end. And now, if you're an Avalanche fan, I certainly can understand why you don't like Detroit on that side. I totally get that. But I can ultimately say I ultimately respect the Avalanche. And I was pretty happy to call them winning the Stanley Cup last year. And that's being honest. With Cooper Hopkins, it was a lot of fun. So 7:15 left to go in this third off the backhand. Now this third period, I will say, has been uneventful in comparison to the first two, as this gets picked up now by RNH. David Krejci tries to get a piece of it. Klim Kostin actually knocks the helmet off of David Krejci, and it looks like he might be holding one of his arms, and we'll see if he's okay. Maybe he just got his bell rung, but he immediately took off one of his pads on the hand, but his helmet popped right off. We got a stoppage at 7:06, so I hope that David Krejci is okay. Looks like he's definitely cut on the right side of his eye, right up on the eyebrow side of it. He got smoked by Clint Costin. So you would think that's got to be a penalty call against the Oilers, and that could be a 4. But we'll see what this one is going to be and how many minutes it's going to be. This is going to be a big-time opportunity for Boston to get a goal, as David Krejci got absolutely smoked and cut near the right side of his eye. So did Krejci's own stick actually come up and clip him in the face from the Costin hit? That's what they're going to argue, and that's what the fans are booing about. But as it stands on the Sportsnet feed, we're going to need to make sure this is correct. It's a 5-minute major power play for the Boston Bruins. So Costin comes in near the right side of the red line. He hits Krejci, and the butt of Krejci's stick actually comes up and hits him in the face. A little friendly fire from that check, but nonetheless, the fans won't like it. But Clint Costin's going to be sent to the box on a 5-minute major, and that could essentially end this game on a whimper. But I will say this, you have to be careful with Draisaitl and McDavid. I know that goes without saying, but the speed that they can pull, if they cherry pick for an opportunity, McDavid's already got him behind the defense twice. I wouldn't be surprised if that might happen again. So Mikko Rantanen has both goals for the Colorado Avalanche right now, and the 2-0 lead for the Vegas Golden Knights. So the ref is saying it's the own stick that hit him in the face. Jim Montgomery is not going to be able to believe it, but I want to go back on the Sportsnet side and reiterate how many minutes are actually be left on the board. Is it going to be a 2-minute penalty? Is it not going to be a penalty at all? What are we going to call here? Because I know they said it was his own stick, which is correct, but we just need to see how many people are on the ice when we get back into the play-by-play. So Jeremy Swayman has some words with the referee right now, but I think he's got a little bit of a smile on his face. But again, for the other side of it, for Krejci, he's going to need some repairs and a little bit of cold on that eye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are back at full strength. So a 5-minute major is negated because it was Krejci's own stick that hit him in the face as Gary Bettman is looking on. And between Boston and Edmonton, he's taking this one in at the boss of the NHL. Leon Draisaitl and in the draw, so there is no penalty. So that was a big pickup there for the Oilers to make sure that they are back to even strength. So Draisaitl wins the draw. McDavid will drop this back to defense now for Tyson Barrie as Draisaitl will try to collect near the left side wall now. Draisaitl for McDavid plays this near the left side boards, but Boston forced them to flip it out with 6:40 left to go in this third. Barrie has it now near the right side. He's canceled near the left side faceoff dot now as this goes around the inboards here for the Oilers, and they'll flip it back around again. Zach Hyman will watch this go back around with Yamamoto as they try to shovel this back. Darnell Nurse will have to go back and get it in the defensive end. Try to gain the entry. Draisaitl will just watch this pass go by as Hyman trying to throw a stick out there to get a stab at it. And Connor McDavid able to bother it enough to get a piece. Pick it up now near the right side dot, and another offsides, the 9th offsides of this period. This third period has been extremely uneventful in between these two teams. I'm going to say after the first 40 was must watch. This last 20 is a snooze fest right now between these teams. But if you're the Boston Bruins, this is exactly what you want to do right now. Shut it down, slow it down, muck it up, make sure that Edmonton can't get anything going, and that's what they're doing. They have not lost a game in regulation this year in which they've had the lead after 2 periods. So Pavel Zacha can't win the offensive zone draw as Derek Ryan did a good job again in the draw. And that's a hand pass. 6:04. Oh, man. 6:04 left to go in the third. Now we get a hand pass with 6:04. So, my goodness gracious, everybody. I apologize if you're trying to listen to this third period waiting for end-to-end action. We're just not getting it right now. Fallen says, yeah, I'm an Abs fan, but it's been a while since the 90s. I kind of missed that rivalry. Yeah, we're never going to get it anymore because the Red Wings are in the East. And again, I'm 35 years old. I'm used to the Red Wings being in the West, so I miss playing against the Avalanche. Again, whether it's blood brother or not, blood rival or not, I really respect Colorado. And Joe Sakic has done an absolutely exceptional job since coming back over there. He's had to make the tough decisions. He's had to make the right decisions. He's made the right decisions. But it would be nice to see at one point, if it's Colorado and Detroit again, Steve Eisman and Joe Sakic up in the towers there watching their teams in the playoffs. But it would have to be the Stanley Cup Finals if that's the case. So Tomas Nosek and on the draw against Leon Draisaitl. Nosek will win this one back, and are we going to have to do this again? What the hell is happening in this third period? 5:57 left to go. 1-2-1 in the last 4 home games against the Bruins. They've won the previous 3. And now the Oilers get a chance to win this, but they have to play it back because the pass goes too far for Darnell Nurse off the win. Now RNH just gets out of the way of Connor McDavid as McDavid gets us on the right side wall. Barrie, McDavid, now near the right circle. He'll pivot off the spin, try to work in between his legs, but great defense by Patrice Bergeron. He stayed stride for stride from Connor McDavid, and that can't be easy to do. Barrie able to hold that blue line, though. 5:30 left to go in the third. McDavid being pummeled by Bergeron near the right side dot. And now Bergeron will get a piece of it with the help of Hampus Lindholm. We'll try to backhand this high off the glass, and this goes into the players' bench. With 5:20 left in the third, it's still a 3-2 scoreline for Boston. Not much going on in this third, but the Bruins still ahead.
Get all-day coverage of the trade deadline, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
Did your credit score get in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans and net credit help you borrow up to $10,000.
So third period just underway again. Mikko Rantanen with a pair of goals. Thank you for throwing that one out there. Let's look at the rest of it though. So Rantanen unassisted, and then Rantanen with his 40th in the second period from JT Compher. Alexander Georgiev stopped 23 out of 23 so far. And Aiden Hill, he's got the start tonight. He stopped 26 out of 28. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, when we look into the NHL standings, they're still going to feel pretty good in the Pacific Division. But I said this, I know people weren't talking about this about 3.5 weeks ago, but I mentioned this probably about a week ago. And itself, I think the Colorado Avalanche not only are going to come all the way back and win the Central, I think they'll end up with the most points in the Western Conference. They've been on fire. They've been 14-2-2, and in the last stretch to cover themselves 15-2-2 if they win tonight. And when you have all these other teams in the Central playing around with their food, I think it's just going to allow Colorado to get the most points in the West, and they'll win the West. That's just how I feel. And they'll have 58 games when this is all said and done. Dallas will be at 60, Minnesota will be at 60, and they'll have a couple games and a half on the water main break in Nashville, Bridgestone Arena. They'll have to make those games up at the end of the year before the postseason. So the Chicago Blackhawks are winning 5 in a row. They have 47 points in the season. I know they're near the bottom, but now the Anaheim Ducks are the worst in the West. The Columbus Blue Jackets are the worst in the East with 44. 44, 45, and 47 for the top spot in the Connor Bedard watch. Red Wings lose today. They get stopped by the Sens, so now they're 3 points out of the wild card. They have a game in hand, but they needed to win that one against Ottawa. And Ottawa's been playing well of late. They could get into this thing if they can continue. So this will be another face-off win by the Edmonton Oilers. 5:10 left to go in the third. They're running out of time, though. They're leading on the shot board 24-22, but they're down on the scoreboard. Connor McDavid's got his 50th, but he might have to get his 51st if the Edmonton Oilers want to win this one. As Foligno, we'll get to it first now. Nick Foligno will drop this back here for Greer. And behind the net now is Stuart Skinner as they'll continue to hold. It's Trent Frederick. 8 shots to 3 for the Oilers in this third, but again, not much going on. Swayman hasn't had much to do with these 8 shots. As McLeod, again, offsides. The 11th offsides of the period, and I wish that I was kidding. So Wednesday, it'll be Maple Leafs and Oilers, and then Thursday, it's going to be the Maple Leafs and the Flames. I think Cooper Hopkins will be with me on that one for Thursday night. I'll probably be joined with Alec Nava on Wednesday between New Jersey and Colorado, as I think Timo Meier is going to make his debut for the Devils, so that should be good. But I don't even think that's going to be enough to take out a team like Colorado. We covered them the last couple of weeks. They've been excellent. So Bergeron with a neutral zone draw, he wins it clean, back off the forehand, and Boston will dump it in deep. 4:35 left to work at Rogers Place, and Edmonton needs a goal. As somebody gets smoked in the face, it's Bergeron, and he drops his gloves, checking his nose and checking that side of the eye. As you do see a little bit of a shiner, he's got the cut right near on this side of his eye if you're following along on YouTube, as Clint Costin will go back to the box. So Clint Costin initially was in the box, but it was ruled that David Krejci off the hit got his own stick in his face and cut him. And now Costin gets his stick up high, and boy, does he ever clip Patrice Bergeron. And there is no question about this one. Clint Costin will go to the box, at least for a 2, as he smoked him near the right side of the eye. And if he didn't have that visor there, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he took out his eyeball. I know that'd be graphic like Mortal Kombat, but I mean that honestly. Bergeron got absolutely clipped. So a 4-minute double minor against Clint Costin. And when I said it could have been over there on a 5-minute major, that wasn't. Now it's a 4-minute double minor, and this one is for sure. With 4:30 left to go in the third, this should be it for this game, as long as Boston does not give up some shorthanded opportunities for McDavid and Draisaitl. They very well can. Jay Woodcroft, I know, will have to make sure that, and Connor McDavid's done so, when you get behind the defense at the right times and catch them napping. That might be how Edmonton has to do this, because they need a goal, but they're down a man on a double minor. So this will go back to the defense. This was won by Edmonton, but not corralled completely. And now Boston will fall down, wrap this around there for Foligno, and Foligno near the left side wall. As this will stay with Jake DeBrusk. And now David Krejci, he fires just wide. This gets picked up by Lindholm, but not before it cancels the line. And this will go back to defense. 4 minutes left to go in this contest. Jordan here with you doing the play-by-play on the NHL Network feed. I know I'm looking at Sportsnet, but if you have ESPN Plus, you can't watch this game tonight because it's only on NHL Network. And that's what it's going to be tomorrow on NBA and TNT between the Memphis Grizzlies and the LA Lakers. As this will be Hampus Lindholm. We'll take a look. Boston are going to take their sweet old time right now, as you imagine that they would. This will be a worked pass near the right side of the faceoff dot. Gain the entry there does Pasta all the way through. They let him right in. This is banked off the inboards. Spun by Brad Marchand. Now he'll take his time off the drop pass. Set up for the one-timer that goes up the right pad of Stuart Skinner. This is matriculated back to Pastrnak. And now here's Bergeron. He'll send it back off the forehand. This gets backhanded right to Pasta and Bergeron. Bergeron will pick it back up now with Pasta. Set it up for the 1-T for Pasta. And that really hurt the right hand of Vincent Desharnais. This stays in with Charlie McAvoy. It's Marchand now. In between his legs, it's Pasta. Picks it up, set up for Marchand. Oh, what a stop by Stuart Skinner as he gets all the way over, but this stays. Oh, it's blocked out in front. Pastrnak again trying to fire at it. And this gets cleared by Edmonton, but not all the way out. Charlie McAvoy holds it in. Pastrnak shooting short side. And he wraps it around the outside of the post. Pastrnak, Bergeron, touch pass, DeBrusk. It's Marchand now near the left side of the wall. We finally get some pulse in this third period. McAvoy with a wrister. Off the inboards. DeBrusk trying to slam it through. And now we get some pushing and shoving. It's Desharnais and DeBrusk throwing hands in behind the net. And this fight is going to still get punched on the bottom as Jake DeBrusk, as Desharnais wants to get some aftershots. He got a couple punches after the whistle. He's looking a little bit like Vlad Tarasenko if he was bald, as he's gotten a little bit of words to be exchanged on the other end of the Bruins. Finally got a pulse in the last minute 30. And it only took a double minor. So slashing again, Desharnais, and he took it like a lumberjack in the back. David Pastrnak got absolutely smoked off of the check from Desharnais as he was really PO'd about something. Wow. So it's going to be a 5-on-3, a 2-man advantage here for the full 2, and then 28 seconds left to go. Desharnais probably was upset about almost getting hit between the twig and berries, having to block a shot. It went off his hand and then up into the the central area that you want to keep covered that doesn't have a lot of padding. I know you're wearing a cup, but sometimes that doesn't really work out too well. 24 shots across the board. Jim Montgomery going to try to engineer something. So a timeout initially called. I think DRNA is going to spend some time in the box as well. He was a big-time whack of the stick in the back of Pastrnak. A minute 56 left to go on this two-man advantage with 2:26 left to go in this game. So Jay Woodcroft is saying that Matthias Janmark got taken off the puck, but I don't think there's much to complain about. Not when you take your stick and just freaking swing it like an axe. I mean, there really is no other way to say it. He swung at full power in the back of David Pastrnak. So we'll see what happens on this 5-on-3 man advantage. Boston already up by a goal. They get up by another one. This game is going to be donezo. So Bergeron, he wants to stay in the draw, but he's going to get kicked out. See, this will bring in will be David Krejci. So they go to centerman. Just in case David Krejci tried to get this in between his legs, and this will go to the captain, Patrice Bergeron, as he finds Brad Marchand. Thought about playing in between his legs. 2:15 left to go in the third, as this will go back across the blue line. And now out of glass and out of play. 2:14 left to go in the third, as we got 3-2 scoreline and 144 two-man advantage here for the Bees. So tomorrow I will be back with Memphis and the LA Lakers, a 7:30 basketball assignment, NBA on TNT. And it's going to be hockey the rest of the way. I'm going to try to broadcast 6 out of 7 days this week, if I can survive all of that, because next week I'll be on location for a couple assignments, and I won't be able to stream in front of all of you guys. So we're going to try to load it up this week, and the next week we'll have some things to figure out. So 2:14 left to go in this third. And my phone will likely die by the time this game is done. If we get any more stoppages, it'll probably die right at the point of it. But since no one else is on the Twitter Spaces, I think we can leave that alone. So Draisaitl, 8 of 11 on the draws. He needs to win this one, and he can't, as this will go back to Boston. They got to start this clock. I think they missed about 5 seconds, as DeBrusk will get the pass, and now this is a chance for Marchand trying to set it up right for Bergeron, and that one was just fixed. So now this is a 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Oilers. McDavid off the drop pass as he tried to get it to Draisaitl, and that was the opportunity that you wanted on the other end, but they missed the pass. And now a 2-on-1 the other way for the Bruins off of the right pad of Stuart Skinner, and now this goes near the left side dot. Pastrnak working his way in between the circles, trying to weave it, and now this is a chance. Connor McDavid, although it's 2-on-2. They need to be able to do enough just to buy some time. One-timer save by Swayman. Keeps the game tied with 1:25 in the third. Now this goes back for Marchand off the one-on-one. And this gets taken away by Draisaitl. Now one-on-one. This goes just too far the other way. Hampus Lindholm will touch it. It's a two-man advantage here for Boston. It's a 1:05 left to go. It's essentially 5-on-3 at this point. Can't take the goalie out of the ice right now. Stuart Skinner's still kind of stuck there. Lindholm will put this around the end boards. Edmonton needs a goal, but they got 50 seconds in which to work with. Pastrnak stayed on this shift for about 3 minutes. Lindholm. Now Pastrnak. He's trying to find this cross pass for Foligno, as this will go back to Pasta. Can he hold the blue line? Yes, he can. This is still Boston possession, with 10 seconds to work with on the two-man advantage. We're down to 30 seconds. Boston still trying to hold on to this 3-2 lead. Edmonton needs a goal. They got to get it out of the defensive end right now. They got to kill this two-man. This is a back pass. This stays with the Bruins. They're keeping this in, and they're just bleeding the time away. Hampus Lindholm, as he gets cross-checked. Darnell works him off the puck. And now Stuart Skinner's pass finds Darnell. Down to 10 seconds. Trying to gain the entry is Draisaitl. Pivot now near the right dot. Try to center back to defense. And that's it. Boston Bruins are going to win this one 3-2. What a way to open the Monday night. The Bruins take the game on the road. They have been juggernaut all year. And even though McDavid has 2, he had his 50th on the season. He couldn't get 3 points on the night, which Edmonton needed to tie it. Bruins take a 3-2 victory. What a game this was. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
On a 5-on-3 for the Bruins, but they prevail and finish this one off. Final here, Boston 3, Edmonton 2 for Gene and Louie on
All right, we will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get the hell out of here and write the game story because I got a quick night tomorrow as well. We'll be back on the call for the LA Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. As always, guys, have a good one. 3-2 final for the Bees over the Oilers.